lot of editing and stuff.
Can you even beat Cyberpunk yet?
Yeah, right. I don't know.
We'll definitely talk about. Oh, and what's up, everybody? I wasn't sure. I was waiting for it to say we were live. We are live. I was just gonna mention how, according to John Linman, the N64 was the worst era for PAL versions of games because they all ran at 50 hertz, and a lot of them ran with major issues at trying to run at 50. I didn't know anything about that stuff.
I knew because
until the Super NES, NES online or mini consoles came out. That's the first time I ever heard about the PAL.
Well, the PlayStation one was the one people got mad at because that one
that was a big one too.
Because that one was super.
That might have been the one, but I know that somebody mentioned, hey, this is actually not the PAL version of. I think it was a Super NES game. What's up, Royal? What's up,
throw me off. I noticed that with like the Castlevania stuff, like I can instantly hear it by the music of old school games now. Like the music, I'm like, why does this shit go so fast? Because like especially in like the NES and the Super Nintendo, you just hear the music go so fast. I'm like, whoa, because I'm used to like the smaller, cooler shit, but it's supposed to be like super fast stuff. We only got like during the GameCube is the first time where we got like 60 frames per second games in Europe. Like fucking Metroid Prime Echoes, I bought a fucking TV that could handle 60 frames per second, as I couldn't even play that shit.
So a lot of TVs back then just run at 50 hertz, and that's why games.
Yeah, that's just what it was. You didn't have anything better in the past.
That's weird.
Nothing just needed to run like that. So
I wonder why though, because it's always been 60 hertz over here. It's like why was there a difference?
I never understood either why there was a difference, which is, like you said, why it started becoming so strange when you got specific ports for like the mini consoles and stuff. Like, I never understood it either. In the beginning, when like you had games that ran at 60 hertz, I was like, what does that mean? I don't understand what it means and shit. And I think seriously only during like, I don't know, Wii U era, I started to understand the fact of how games ran smoother and stuff. Because for me, like especially the NES, some stuff just went slow, and then you see footage online, and I'm like, that's not how my game played, like at all.
Well, I knew.
I'm sure that's almost disappointing. Where it's like, damn, what the fuck? What do you mean I got the worst version? What do you mean?
In your head, it's gonna be the worst version because you would go from 60 to 50, and you're like, what is this shit? But to me, I'm more used to, especially like old school games, to play more floaty. You know, that's why I kind of like floaty controls and shit, because that's
admittedly, though, like I mean,
that's why you
basically the game ran. For those that don't know, though, the games run at almost at a slower speed. The music plays slower, the game plays slower because it's converting from 60 to 50, so it's basically playing in slightly slow motion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not like frames are missing; it just runs slightly slower.
Yeah. Just like when they record at super fast speeds and play it back at normal speed, it's slow motion because they record it at 200 frames per second, but you're playing it at 24, so it automatically looks slow motion. But anyway, we got Visored. We got Brebe was already here. Donnie Arts, what's up? I knew about 50 hertz in the PAL region. What's up, Lenny? From all the TV reviewer I watch, HD TV Test. He's in the UK, and he always talked about 50 hertz broadcast TV over there. So I always knew that was a thing over there. I just didn't know it was for gaming. We got the Anime Rapper. We got Be Wild. I was looking forward to the N64 Classic. I doubt we get one now. Yeah, for sure. There's there'd be no reason. I mean,
they might.
They still did the Super NES and NES Online after the
there would be a reason for
I wouldn't take it off the table.
But doing it now, I think
they should still do it. I think
to be fair, if you did it, I would wait until after the.
It wouldn't work with the wireless controller then either, unless they forked over.
Yeah, unless they made that. Yeah,
that system would be $200.
Well, also wait. Don't they have a? Wasn't it that if I remember correctly, the Super Nintendo Classic came out around the time they unveiled Super Nintendo games. Or was it?
I think I'm backwards.
It was before.
My point was more so just because they're showing it off, just because it's part of the online service.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. when we talk about the direct and stuff. I just want to give my quick thoughts on Kena, Bridge of Spirits. I was just waiting for reviews and stuff. I wasn't waiting on the score. I was just waiting to hear what people said about the game because I wasn't too sure about what you're actually doing. And it got enough praise, and I heard enough things that I like in games. I picked it up. I think I only got about 2 hours in it, and it's like 10 to 15 hours depending on how you play. Retro probably make 30 hours out of it. So, but the first thing that stood out to me as a quote unquote negative, because I couldn't quite tell, because I used to watch some combat videos and stuff. There wasn't a whole lot of videos out there. What's up, Mr. True? The world is absolutely motionless, like the trees, leaves, grass, nothing moves except for there's some lanterns hanging, there's some leaves falling, and I think a couple branches move. It's a little bit weird. I'm used to it now, but in the beginning I was like, man, this art style in like motion, if these trees and stuff were moving, it would be, I mean, one of the best looking games ever. It's a great looking game, but it's just very static. It's one of the most static worlds I've played in a long time. And I give them a pass because they're a small team making their first game.
Yeah, game.
and the core game's fun, and the combat's really good. The boss fights are super challenging. I've died. I mean, it's like doesn't play like a Souls game, but man, I've been dying a lot.
Oh, really?
And trying to get some of the mechanics down, but it's an enjoyable game. I would compare it, and Clocked brought this game up. I don't think he knew. I would compare it more to Star Fox Adventures than Zelda, in its simplicity of what you're doing and the way the character moves, and you're using a bow staff. So I was hoping for a little more Zelda ish feeling, but definitely the Star Fox Adventure vibes are hitting me.
Well, I've definitely heard, like I saw a review that actually compared it to that. They said the PS1 and GameCube games like Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah,
like, oh.
It's weird. It's not like, I would say it's mostly the stiffness of the animations that make me feel that way. In the early on, like there isn't like the puzzle solving isn't like anything crazy. It's pretty straightforward, very very linear. But there is cool stuff to do. And the combat's fun, and the setting's great. The characters are good. And so it's an enjoyable game. I heard it gets quite a bit more in depth, the combat and stuff, at like the last quarter of the game. You get a couple new abilities that kind of flesh it out a little bit more. So I'm looking forward. Music's great though. The visuals are amazing. Frame rate's not a lot. It's got a few little hiccups. I guess they already put out a patch, but I haven't tried it since then. But it's a good game for $40. I'll have to reserve judgment till I finish the game. It's definitely not a full price game though, just based on my 2 hours with it. But I think it's got enough good so far that I'm looking forward to playing more. But it's not an Ori level quality game so far. But I am looking forward to their next game, because I think the groundwork, the foundation's there with Kena, that I could with the sequel I could see them taking it a whole lot further. It kind of reminds me of Hellblade in a weird way, where it's like I see the core mechanics I really like the combat in Hellblade, especially at the end. You get as you get a few new mechanics to play around with. I could see it's a kind of a simplistic game as well. It's very linear. But I really liked it, and I'm looking forward to what they do next. I hope they can expand on it, and I feel the same way.
Does the dual sense get used, like the triggers?
A little bit, not as much as it should, but when you shoot the bow, you feel it a little bit. But going from,
I think that's gonna be for every game. Anything that reaches a bow is gonna.
Going from Returnal to any game though is a pretty big disappointment.
Okay.
I guess Death Stranding Director's Cut is like right up there with Returnal as far as the
really
the haptics and adaptive triggers.
I didn't hear about that. I didn't know that.
So, but other than that,
with all my hatreds for the Wii, I still feel some Wii games did bow shooting the fucking best way, like grabbing it, and then letting
Oh,
go
you're
the
going
thing
like
and
that.
shit. Like, yeah, like I just wanted to say
it's weird
that.
because I'm of two minds. Because Breath of the Wild is you just pull the right trigger, and it automatically aim. You can aim and you let go and shoot. Well, every other game, including Kena, you pull the left trigger into aim, and then you pull the right trigger to shoot. I don't know why other games do that because it's really not necessary. Breath of the Wild did it with the one button and proved that's actually. I mean, it's simplistic, but it also feels. It feels better, To me, it just feels more, maybe because I have 300 something hours in Breath of the Wild, it just feels that way.
I think it's just because they see it as a gun. It's very easy to just go aim, have people know aim and
Yeah,
shoot. You know what I mean?
I know they do
That's
it because that's it's easier for other people. Like Immortals, same way, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
So other than that, I tried to finish Horizon Frozen Wilds, but I got distracted. I started doing side quests. And so I went back to the main game and I did a couple extra ones there. And then I was like, oh, I got all these like tutorial quests where you got to do this thing with the weapon. And some of them were back with like when I was at level 15 and I'm like at level 52 now. I was like, oh, I might as well go complete these. It's like find a enemy that's weak to shock is a weakness and then shoot them with this weapon. And stun them. And I was like, oh, so I went and did a bunch of that stuff. About 2 hours later, I was like, let me get back to the Frozen Wilds. And I was like, oh, here's a side mission. Let me go do that. And, just, I could have probably went straight. I probably could have beat it if I didn't do that. But I am enjoying my time with it and make it last. I'm going to do all the side missions in the Frozen Wild. And just kind of it's not a big achievement, but I crossed 50 hours with Horizon on my save file. I crossed 50 hours in Returnal the last time I played. I looked, I had real close to 50 hours in Days Gone. These are all games I played this year.
50 hours total?
50 hours total. And then my Immortals was 132 hours total. Some of that was last year. Like the end of last year, I think I had 30 hours. So I put about 100 hours in Immortals this year. And then I think I had one other game where I was like, damn, I put a lot of time in that. So, I'm happy when I play a game 30 hours, 40 hours, but 50 hours, that really makes me feel like it was worth the investment. It's like, that's like...
I know you love your hours.
I love playing. I love when a game gives me a reason to play it that much. So
I mean, it depends on the game, because like for me, like Valhalla, I spent like 70 hours in, and I enjoyed my time, but Pathless to me shits on it, and it's only played it for like 5 hours. It's like it's a big difference for me. Or it just
I mean, there's always that, but just like. Yeah, playing a mediocre game for 50 hours does not sound appealing whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But
again, Valhalla wasn't mediocre though. It was a good game.
I mean, but if I'm playing a great game and it only lasts 5 hours, I'm gonna feel shorted. I don't care what they do with the story and stuff. Like, why not?
I guess it depends.
What would be wrong with playing more? What would be wrong with playing more?
Well, no, of course. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I would love to play Mario Galaxy and have it unlimited, amazing ass levels. Holy crap! Just keep continue. Fuck it. But I know, like, if the pacing was good, I feel like it's fine. It just depends on the pacing. I think that's just a big thing for me.
All right. Yeah, it's up to each person. But for me, I said, when I crossed that 50-hour mark, I was like, yeah, that was definitely a game I'm glad I bought. Like 40 hours, I still feel the same way.
Well,
but...
I mean, I always say like, I mean, if you get to 50 hours, I'm always like, beefy ass game. I mean, it's like, damn. That's I mean, I get you.
All right. So anybody beat any games or start anything new they want to talk about? Beater?
Anybody beater?
Anybody beater?
Beater.
I didn't finish any games this week. I started getting back into Cyberpunk, and I've been enjoying it, man. I actually have been enjoying it, and I am, doing. It is one of those games which is dangerous, I have been going to do the side stuff, and legit, almost one mission takes me a good couple hours, and I don't think the mission's that long, but like it'll take you through this hotel, and I go into the bar's hotel, which you don't have to do, but like I'm walking by it and you see this super detailed bar with a bunch of people just walking and talking like, how can I not go there and
And
at
you
least
pull a
just see what
retro.
else is going on?
You're looking at everything.
I'm not even joking. I'm totally retro deadly this. I'm good. Like when it comes to this, I'm
I like how
literally
that's a verb now.
I'm going to I'm going to every single person. I'm just standing there listening to their conversations. I'm like, damn man, I can't believe they recorded all these damn lines. I'm like so many
That's
people
what took
missing
them
this
so
shit.
long.
And yeah, and what's funny is you missed so many cameos because I was walking in this again. It was in this little bar thing. That has maybe
He's
about
trying to
20
pick up
people or so.
chicks.
And, yeah, and I went and who's sitting in the couch? And I look, I'm like, who the fuck? This guy looks so familiar. And he's like, "Are you a fan of my work?" When you talk to him, and it's fucking Hideo Kojima. I'm like, what the hell? What are you doing? I didn't even know that. And I even had to look it up. I'm like, is this Hideo Kojima? I'm like, it is. What the fuck? What is he doing in the game? And I thought that was pretty funny. And I guess they got cameos and shit. I'm sure Jeff
Isn't
Keighley saw
Alana
it
Pierce
and stuff.
apparently in it? Or it
Yeah, I
looks
forgot.
kinda
Yeah, I
like her.
remember
I
that.
didn't think it looked that much like her.
I didn't think it. I was thinking that too. I don't think. I remember I was like, oh, I'm not quite looking forward to seeing it because that character model was a little shaky, if I'm being honest. But it's the Hideo Kojima one looks pretty spot on. But it's I'm enjoying it. The only thing that I find strange with it, and I don't know if it's just they haven't nailed it, is the actual first person shooting. While it's solid, it just doesn't feel as tight as like as other first person shooters. And I'm like, and it's just not quite there. And
Well, I mean, it's out of their realm. Like that's
it is
nothing
out of the
they've
realm,
ever
and that's
done
probably
before.
why. That's probably why. And yeah, that's why for me it's not quite there. And I'm like, oof, if they could just tighten it up, that'd be really awesome. Um, but character wise and all, I've been enjoying. Like everyone has these unique personalities and stuff, and something happened, and I was like, damn, and it hit me. I'm like, oh man, we're only 10 hours in. We got come on, man. I guess it's like, damn, but I'm not gonna see that character anymore. You kidding me? And so it's like, it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying my time. I love the whole futuristic setting. I always talk about Blade Runner 2049. I love that setting, and it looks great. I'm playing on a PC,
You
so
gotta
it's
watch
not.
Ghost in the Shell, the original anime movie, if you
Yeah,
like
I
that
gotta
setting,
watch
dude.
that. I'm sure. I definitely do have to. It's oh my god, they're actually bringing that to theaters. I think. Oh, they are. I forgot about it. They're bringing that to IMAX. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I
Mm.
remember seeing the trailer of
I
that
just
like
watched it
a
this
few weeks
weekend.
ago.
I tried the
Oh, really?
English dub yet again. I couldn't make 10 minutes. I had to switch. I cannot
It's the Japanese subs that they're
good.
doing in for
I
the
can't
IMAX.
take
Yeah.
the Major's English voice actor. It just doesn't fit
No.
her character for me. I couldn't do it. And the
Yeah.
dialogue has changed. They try to make it a little more easy for Western audiences to follow
Really?
the story. And if you watch with the
I hate that
subtitle,
shit when they do that. Like, just translate what
just
they say.
translate it.
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
that's stupid. I don't like
they
that.
try to make them sound like I don't know, it's weird, but I mean, if you
But
like the dub, if you don't know any better, I'm sure it's fine. But
yeah, I get that too. But hey, I know there's a lot of people that are playing on the PS4s and the
did you
Xboxes.
meet any Rays
I
in there? Any Rays?
what
You trace
my
any
ray
Rays?
tracing?
Yeah.
So one thing I gotta give huge props to is the fucking DLSS. The fact it's just an amazing technology. I don't know how it works because I have it running Psycho ray tracing, the highest thing, everything on, um, all the type of shit, and I have it on ultra performance, and it's running at like 60. There's some times where it'll dip down, but it's legit. There's a lot of times where it's mainly just running at 60, and I'm like, I don't. And then if you turn that off, the ray trace, the DLSS, it becomes like 20s or even sometimes below,
Probably
and
lower.
I'm like, yeah, even lower. I'm like, that's crazy. I mean, I'm not running at 4K. I'm running at 1440p, but I can't per se. I can't quite. It's not quite the biggest difference. So I don't mind that, and I'm just like, dude. I know we always say, but if Nintendo could do,
If they
really
can get
work with
that,
that
that would be a
DLSS,
game changer.
that is I mean, huge game changer. I mean, you're talking about like you go from, 20s even below to, like essentially solid 60. Like that's impressive as hell. I don't know how that technology
The only
works,
problem they're gonna have is the power draw. If they still want to stay at like 12 watts or whatever, 15 watts, whatever the switch is, then that's gonna be a bit of a hurdle.
yeah,
But
definitely. But I always say like one of like a lot of these character models are really impressive looking. You just look into their eyes, like you could like zoom in, you look into their eyes, and the way they look, I'm just like, oh, it's pretty impressive. Some of them, and obviously I always say
Who
my
was that?
favorite, that Judy girl.
Yeah, you got to be the female character though to get the good.
Yeah,
Get
unfortunately,
the
I gotta
good
be a
scene.
female character if I want to romance her. But I'm already, I'm already the male bee. It is what it is, yo. What are you gonna do? But and it's I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it. We'll see we'll see how much I'll get into it. But
I'm in no hurry to start a new game with Dread coming out next week. I gotta finish a few things before that comes out, so I can play Dread. I'm gonna play Dread and Hades kind of together, to go back and forth. So I want to get Horizon finished, and then try to get that last little thing in Returnal to get the final ending, because I didn't look up the what the extra ending is. Forgetting when you collect the final, it's called the Sun Fragments. Get those done, and then I'll be free to enjoy Metroid Dread, because shit, man, that game looks so good. And then Nintendo Life's preview of it, he's raving about the mobility and speed of Samus. It's just like,
yeah, I've heard people are like going crazy in terms of the early, like what they play like 2 hours, and everyone's been like, holy shit, this is amazing. So I'm like, damn.
They stepped up, man. They and that trailer in the direct was, I mean, just the opening with the letters, like that shit was awesome. They didn't need to show all the environments like they did, but
that was good.
Like, it hits different when they start a Dread trailer in that direct.
Yeah, it hits different. It hits fucking fast forward. I don't want to see any of that shit.
Well, you were like that. You were like, I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
I don't want to know that I get a weapon upgrade in that game and I can shoot 3 lasers instead of 1 laser.
Man, they even said it. Like, I want to talk about like the game I'm playing right now still, but just to say that they even say at the end of the trailer, like, oh, did you see any of the literally fucking 10 videos we did before? Bitch, I don't want to see your.
Well, they're trying to set up the story. They want everybody to know the story because they're not going to release the games on Switch.
Fucking make an animated movie then if you want to do that shit. Don't show me the whole fucking game before I play it. Like, they made like 10 of those fucking videos already. Like, come on. Like, I don't need to see more of that shit.
What game did you play?
I found that, but yeah, they do need it for like the newcomers that Admittedly, that is technically for like someone like me, but I'm not gonna actually.
I don't know, man. I think Dread looks so good I mean, I went back and played the original recently, and I was impressed with the controls and stuff of that game. But I'm just worried that if you play Dread, and then you go to some of the other games that are slower paced, and you can only aim like up to at a 45. I don't even know if you can point down in Super Metroid. It's been a while. I know you can hold a button to aim up. Maybe you can shoot down. And I'm worried that you're gonna feel it's gonna lessen the experience of the older games.
I don't think so. I mean, it just depends. Like it just got. I guess it just depends on how it feels. Like if it feels fine, I don't think I'm really gonna think about it too much. I don't know. It just depends.
Because I mean, I ain't gonna lie. When I played Super Metroid right after playing the original, I thought Super Metroid was a little floatier, a little looser control wise, but I got used to it. But my initial thought was, wow, this doesn't control as good as the original game does. Just as far as it's, it feels a lot different. I mean, it's a different system. There's way more moves, way more abilities. But the first thing I noticed was just I wasn't as accurate with landing on small ledges, and the jumps were a little floatier, I felt. But you'll see. I guess we'll find out. You'll find out. I know Terrell was playing through. What ones did you get through, Terrell? Because I'm trying to remember.
I did. I think the Zero mission finished, and I'm like almost done with the first game, I want to say. Oh no, the second game. Well, Zero Mission technically is the prequel.
Yeah, so you played Super Metroid. I didn't know if you finished it.
Yeah, I didn't finish it yet. I don't think I'm going to get the chance to do all
Yeah, I
that.
mean,
I'm
you'll
just
have to
gonna,
crunch that shit. That plus fusion. Like, yeah, we have to.
yeah.
We have to
I
just
think
crunch that.
I'm gonna just enjoy Dread for what it is, and then I'll double back. It's just too much shit.
So how many Switches are you gonna have in just under 2 weeks?
3, probably.
Wait, you are getting the OLED next week?
I pre-ordered the OLED like
Oh, I forgot about that.
I
I don't
pre-ordered it
remember.
just in case. Although what I'm
We
probably going, I saw I
Kevin
saw the
Kenson's.
videos. Yeah, I saw the videos of people getting it early. It
You were
looks
saying
nice.
it's nice though.
No one
Yeah,
really went
it's
into
nice.
depth about the screen or anything. The kickstand seems to be the biggest, like, obviously the thing they talk about because they're not really.
I've seen some people do a couple comparisons between the two just off screen. Comparing like I think they use Mario Kart 8's title screen as a good representation, and it's even apparent just from that. So what I'll probably do is get rid of the original one that I fixed, and then
I
just
wonder what you can get for it, if you get like 200 or not.
It depends on how honest
I'm
I want
sure
to
you
be
could.
on. It depends on how honest I want to be on sites.
I mean, I still have my
Also,
box in mint condition. I was thinking if I get 200, then it's a $150 upgrade. But I don't know. I don't know.
you would do it. Well, one thing I think what's so great about the OLED is that what I was seeing was like, man, you see that bigger screen? You know, a little bigger is better. Man.
Yeah, okay.
I like how just the it
Just
makes
hold it
literally
closer to
look
your
bigger.
face, the Switch you
I
have.
know.
That's how you
That's
make
what you
it
do with your television.
instantly
Damn.
bigger.
You got his fucking TV like this.
Because I
Man,
don't get me
I
wrong,
can't restrict the graphics.
I think about it because I play it every day at work and I'm like, that is every day. To be fair, that is.
You didn't buy a
know,
grip
but-
or nothing for it? You play it
Losers.
regular?
I would
No,
at least buy
I've been
grips.
playing it regular, like I
No
just play.
Switchpad Pro, no nothing.
Nah.
Yeah.
Once you try a grip, you will prefer a grip. That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm sure I would, but I just I've never been critical of the Joy Cons of how they feel. I mean, I was one that
How do you
enjoyed.
hold
I
it though?
enjoyed playing them on the side though.
I have to use my pinkies, like try to hold it up, and then my pinkies get really sore. I can't just grip it
No.
without. It's almost like when I use my phone for too long. Sometimes I'll get on discussions. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
you
no,
can't.
I get.
That's a
I
lot
get
of pressure. You got like to hold and to articulate your thumb.
No, because it's really just resting in my palm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't play it that way. I need my hands out, my fingers out
'Cause
further.
I always do it like this. That's why
I don't even know how I play, man.
Just put it in your hands real quick, Robert. Damn.
It's too far, man.
We mean too far. Lean over. T got portals and shit. You can't reach over 2 inches.
Yes, T pulled out a TV last.
Speaking of portals,
Look,
Oh,
look.
shit.
I seen a
this how
Switchpad
you,
Pro.
this how you need to upgrade to this shit, son.
Again, we always say
This
that.
the grown man
T's got-
hands right
T's
here.
got
Yeah, I
the
seen the
grown man.
Switchpad Pro like at the store. I was like, man, I should just buy it. Then I'll probably play in handheld mode. I'll probably play my Switch a lot more,
Yeah.
and
then
especially
you
with
would
football
want-
season.
If
Yeah,
you would
Switchpad.
want the OLED.
Oh yeah, with football season, did you play Xenoblade Chronicles X a lot with the off-TV
Yeah.
play? Remember that?
I used to do that a lot with the Wii U. I don't have football's not as
Oh,
doesn't
there you
grip
go.
me like it used to, but I still watch it.
Well,
My team's losing every way possible. Last second, longest field goal in NFL history, 100 years of history. The longest field goal as the time ran out.
knocked a 66
And it
yarder
hit
to
the
win
bar and bounced up and went in instead of
And
out.
bounced
It
and
was
still
crazy.
winning that bitch.
It was just, you guys have
That
no
shit
idea
is not
what
supposed
it's
to happen.
like to be a fan of something and have to see year after year the most improbable ways to lose.
Hey,
It's just ridiculous.
your old quarterback handled my boys, so
Yeah.
spanked us.
So anyway, Retro, you were gonna say a game you played. You were gone for a couple weeks, so
Yeah, like I was gone for like 2 weeks, and but like 3 weeks ago, I actually picked up a game that came out 3 weeks ago. I mean, while you and Robert are like playing like 4K, 120 FPS, like Cyberpunk and Kena and shit, like that was
You
actually
say
an indie
as I'm
game that
next to
came out.
Genesis Sound HR3.
Jesus
There was
Christ.
actually an indie game that came out that I was waiting for that
Fist.
most people haven't played or heard of. It was called Webbed. You play like a small spider, a dancing spider, and it's like an indie game, but it has very Spider-Man Bionic Commando feels. You're just swinging around and stuff, and you're going into like all the areas to like do these little missions because like there's Raven kidnapped like your boyfriend because you're playing with like the female spider and shit, and you're just going like into these tunnels, for example, to like help the ants build like an ant robot so that the ants can fight other ants and shit. Like it's very like interesting. Like it's very humorous, like all the dialogue and stuff. But I just like those games that have the swinging mechanics. And sometimes, like the swinging mechanics are still well done. Like you can just shoot a web, but like you can actually like shoot webs all over, and then you can like walk on one of the strings, and then you can literally create like an actual spider web, which you sometimes have to do to either like catch bugs or to like lift specific parts. For example, for the ant, you have to like fix the ant robot, and you have to like look for a missing leg. So you like look through the caves to the leg, and you're like shooting like your webs at it. You're trying to like lift it up, but you actually have to like you can't just do like what Spider-Man does, like you shoot a web at it and you pull it at you. You actually have to like try and like drag it and lift it up via the web, create a whole web and make the leg into the web. Like it's very intricate, the whole web design of it. And I was just having a lot of fun with that. I only started playing it because then I left on vacation and stuff. But it's a great little indie game. I paid like $8 for it. Like I was expecting it to be a lot more. It's not very big, but it's definitely something like if you like fun indie games, I think Robert would have fun with it. And I know T likes it, slinging
Sounds
shit like
interesting.
I'll play it just for you, yo, because I did see it. I thought that it did look interesting.
So
I'll end up playing that in 8 months, though.
I know.
You'd be
I had,
lucky
I
if it's 8
had,
months.
I had a Q&A video up about 2 weeks ago before I left, and I actually used the gameplay in the background of the game.
Yeah,
like,
I thought it looked nice.
It's
So,
a lot of fun.
since we're talking about indie games, I'm gonna take us to a topic. So that game Fist apparently came out. You guys remember
yeah,
that
it
from?
came out.
It looks good.
Was that a
Fist.
Nintendo Direct or was that the Sony?
It was a PlayStation.
Indie
I think
The
it
World?
was Sony.
PlayStation one.
Yeah, I
That
think
was
it
in
was
the
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah.
And it's like, that's, and I'm sure I'll be the only one who feels this way, but you see these showcases and you see these really cool looking indie games and you hear, people excited and are thrilled or, oh, that looks awesome. And then they come out and nothing. I didn't know it was out. Someone just had a post on Twitter. They retweeted somebody else's gameplay of it. And it was out. Like, I'm like, this game's out. I remember hearing everybody talking highly of it, and now it's out. And it's like, that kind of sums up how I feel about. That's why I stopped watching the indie worlds and the indie showcases. Because a bunch of games look really good. A lot of them do. And then they come out, and it's like, then they just kind of nothing happens with them.
Perception, I could be the only one that buys that game in the world, but if I enjoy it,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it ain't enjoyable, but I'm just like,
but that's what I'm saying is what I will say is if you look at the reviews, it scored pretty good, man. It was actually I think 80s. It was in the 80s for sure. Like it did score pretty damn good. Like so I mean, if you're interested, apparently it is a good game.
There's just so many, and a lot of them do have a good like eye test. They pass the eye test. They look good, but then it's just like they just come out, and it's like there's no.
Well,
there's just more games. There are more games that actually end up like catching people's eye, especially
because you don't have a Wii U right now. It's a Switch. That's why you don't care about these indie games no more.
Well, no, also,
that was half the Wii U's library, so I mean it was.
But like the idea is that like, unless you have like a really unique art style or something really going for you, a lot of those indie games are great, but they don't stick out. You got to be a person who like actively is searching through them,
yeah,
or like
yeah. I didn't mean they didn't turn out to be good games. They just kind of stealth release, or they just come out with no fanfare.
They just don't stick out.
Well, you know what it is? You could compare those indie games to, unfortunately, someone like us, right? Where like people enjoy our content, we release, but we're gonna be filled with other videos, a million other videos.
Robert, this is a dangerous line. Chill out.
You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is that it's just like
one time. Go say that again.
No, don't do it. Hey, it's a trap.
I didn't get that. I want to get the logic.
No, you don't need to get it. You good?
All I'm saying is what I'm saying. Unfortunately, is that like there's a
million podcasts
games out there, but there's also millions of games that are good. That like there's only so many people that unfortunately
And
you can
there's-
reach without putting the money into like I don't know crazy promotion
their
that they
And
don't
there's only
have.
so much time a person has. Like
don't
I
have,
know,
yeah.
Robert, you have this idea you're gonna play everything, almost everything, or
I'm gonna retire. You ain't doing
you
that.
know, at
Hell
some
yeah, man,
point.
it's gonna happen.
I had that idea. I had that idea about movies too. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch every movie that comes out, and I go to like 3, 4, 5 movies a month, every year for multiple years. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go see the ones I really want to go see, and then it was one a month, and then it was one every 2 months, and then it's like twice a year. I'll watch them when they come out on video. It's like, yeah. That's a
That
little
shit
sad.
sounds good, but we'll see.
What happens was I kept
We'll see
going to
what
movies that were just not very good, and I'm just like,
Well, it's easy enough to
I
go see
walked out of
movies now.
2 movies. Well, I guess one that in the theater was with Bruce Willis, The Siege. I still don't know how that movie finished. I walked out about an hour.
Oh,
into
really?
it. Me and my buddies, we looked at each other. We're like, "This is stupid," and we left.
It didn't finish well. I'll say that.
It did or didn't?
It didn't.
Okay, we walked out, and I stopped watching the movie at home. I don't even remember which one it was before, and I just like,
Yeah, for me, it was Van Helsing. Van Helsing screwed up in our movie theater. I had never seen that movie to this day. I got free tickets for another movie, but I never saw that shit.
I mean,
I own that movie.
A few years ago, I watched. It was like what 120. I don't know, some crazy number of movies in theaters, and I definitely have not been able to get even close to that. Obviously, last year you couldn't, but even this year, I try to go to movies once, twice a week. But there's a lot of times
just all
like
blend together in your brain, and you just forget. Like,
yeah, no, trust me. I was talking to my family a few hours ago where remember I did make that video where I talked about I don't remember this video game, and there's just a lot of games that I forget like certain bits of, and admittedly I think that's just gonna happen no matter what, because even if you played 3 games a year, and eventually that 3 turns into 6, turns into 9, and then 10 years down the road you played 30, you forgot that third one in that middle thing. But like with movies, because I consumed so many, there's a lot of times where I was like, I would write down every one that I've seen, right? And I would see like oh my god, I forgot all about this movie even existed, yo. And I saw this movie, I sat there and I saw it.
That's the point I learned. Like, I don't even remember anything about it. I've been to concerts. I used to go to concerts like crazy. I probably have 100 stubs to concerts, and I'm like, oh yeah, I seen Puddle of Mud. Damn, I can't remember one thing about the show other than I know I seen them. That's it. I can't remember a single memory about the actual show I seen, and I'm like, why am I spending 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks? And like 5, 6 years later, I mean, unless it's a standout moment, you don't remember that. I mean, it's cool when you're there, but I got to a point where I'd seen so many, I'm just like, yeah, I've seen all my favorite bands. Like,
And we will be talking about video games. And
yeah, I know.
That's Terrell said, man.
Yeah, Terrell was like, man.
I mean, it's one of those. I'm up. I swear to God, I'm up.
Let's start talking about anime then.
We'll
We'll get his
just
attention.
bullshit.
Let's talk about
I
Cowboy Bebop live action.
I will say, just as a heads up for Terrell, just as a heads up for Terrell, I was looking through eBay. I saw like the lowest I could find, and it looks like, and this isn't even the cleanest with everything, is like $200, yo, for a Switch. So,
Okay.
you may be able to make.
Might as well
some
sell
money.
2 of them, man. If you could sell both for 200 or even a little bit more, I mean, that's.
This looks like without the box and stuff. So you might be able, if you.
Wait, so you trying to sell your Switch?
Well, remember, if I'm getting the OLED coming, there's no reason to have the other Switch.
Yeah,
So
well,
There's no reason to have
Live
3
then,
switches.
you
No
know,
reason to
live
have
the
2
shit out of
switches.
that, bitch.
True.
Yeah, you could try to
Alright,
hack it.
But again, you still have.
Actually,
You can still sell the other one,
folders
though.
and
I would sell the
background
newest
music
one.
and-
But again, you'll have 3 switches. So
Yeah,
you
I would
can
sell
remove
your-
one.
the
yeah,
second one you
I'll
bought.
sell one of them. Yeah, I'll sell the second one.
I sold my 3DS XL for the price I paid for it. I bought a refurbished one for $150,
Damn.
and I got $150 for it on eBay. Obviously, you lose 10%
Okay.
with that, but
Okay.
I
Sick.
still
Good
felt
to
like
sell
that was a nice. And if I could get
Yeah,
200 for my
what? That's
Switch,
a really good
Yeah.
thing.
if I could get
Admittedly, I don't, it's funny with my 3DS. I've got the 3DS. I have the new 3DS XL on them, and then I'll get that 3DS with a capture card. I'm gonna have three
you didn't
3DSs.
get that yet.
And no, not yet. It's
Hmm.
supposed to be. It's shipped now, so it
Hmm.
should come in a few weeks.
All right, well let's get into the direct, because direct there was a lot of things shown, and we can give it full attention, and then we'll do our usual score at the end after we talk about it. Everything everybody wants to talk about. So, it's funny because they always say that like mainly focused on this time period, and the very first thing you see is summer 2022. It's like you just said, mainly focused on winter, and the very first thing you show is probably not the farthest thing out, but it was one of the farthest, I would bet. I think Bayonetta 3 is actually going to be after that. I think it's going to be fall, but...
So can we quit gatekeeping on how people should feel about Direct and what they should expect? Because Nintendo don't give a shit. They'll show what the hell they want to show. They say one thing and they show a whole bunch of other shit. So please stop gatekeeping with people's expectations, please.
It's just funny.
Dude, they even had Holiday 2022.
I just thought that was funny. The
movie.
very first thing is like, summer.
We don't talk about that yet.
But yeah, so I didn't record a reaction. I thought that was gonna be the Xenoblade or Monolith's new game when I saw the very first second of that Monster Hunter Rise DLC.
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is Monolith's game. Yeah, dragon. They showed a dragon in the little concept art. So I was a little bummed when I found out what it was, but
I'll say I'm more surprised that they're still pushing Monster Hunter Rise, because usually, especially considering right now I think Rise is only on Switch, and eventually I think it's coming to PC.
And it said major update. Like they worded it as a major.
Well, what confuses me is that it comes
is
out
it
like
free or DLC?
It's DLC, but it comes out from like a year from now. It's like the summer of next year.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's like they're gonna like even change the game mechanics for it.
Well,
like it's a massive thing.
It'll probably be what Iceborne was for World. World had you had base World and you had Iceborne, and Iceborne was like a completely different expansion. I'm just more surprised for a game that'll only be on Nintendo and PC that they're pushing this much for DLC.
It's sold
pretty
well.
It
did. Oh no, it did. I mean, Monster Hunter's been selling well on Nintendo consoles, so that means for Monster Hunter fans, you got about another year of Monster Hunter stuff coming.
Well, think about it. It's sold well, and it definitely costs less than World. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
And I do want to preface this because T brought up what people can expect. I want to talk about, before we go any further, like what I was going into this direct, because we talked about this last week. Like we're like, oh, all these people have been predicting a September direct, and it's September's almost over, and I said I don't see a reason to have a September direct, and so I went into it with the mindset of, all right, why is there a direct in September with all these games that are coming out instead of having like a January, February that's set up 2022 direct? That's how I was viewing it. I watched it through T's stream, so I was watching it and watching T's reaction, so I wasn't like fully invested in watching it. But that was my mindset going in, was like, all right, why are you doing this in September with all these games we already know are coming, instead of like setting up 2022 with like a January direct? So that was my mindset. I don't know if anybody else had a specific mindset they were going in at. They want to mention it.
I kind of expected it was gonna bleed into next year, because, like you said, the rest of this year for Nintendo wise, you're kind of good.
Well, I expected it, but I'm just saying I was looking for justification why they chose to do a direct in September with everything they already had coming out this year.
I think that wasn't it you that mentioned the quarter ends around September, I think.
Oh yeah, this quarter.
Winters and March.
Well, no, I'm saying like
this quarter.
It could be just more so for like, oh, well, these are the other things to look forward to. Like, because a lot of it was like, oh, look at all these 2022 stuff. 2022 feels low key stacked depending on how these games land out. So
yeah,
But
low-key
realistically,
stacked. It's fucking filled to the rim already.
I'm not gonna say all that. All right,
I don't know, man.
Well, just
if you
in
count the
gaming in
number of
general.
games,
22
you
don't
was
have-
the best
we don't-
year in gaming, son, of all
We don't
time.
have 12 months of
Just look at
stats.
all
Yeah,
of
we don't have
gaming.
12.
It's
We do have,
ridiculous.
like,
Well, all of
seven.
It's gonna be
gaming, sure.
stupid, son. It's
Yeah.
gonna be stupid.
Yeah, all of
Yeah.
gaming, yeah, 100%. It could have just been. I mean, they've been doing this consistently, so maybe there's a reason. I don't know specifically what it would.
I think
Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo bringing big guns in 22, yo. 22.
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
Just
Yeah, it's
because
gonna be
22 is
ridiculous.
a little 22 is a little
Yeah.
gun, so that's kind of weird, but
It is. Yep. It doesn't barely makes a sound, the 22s. I shot a squirrel right through the eyeballs from like 20, 30 yards
Dude.
with a
Chihuahua,
22.
that's a Chihuahua.
Oh,
All that
Lord.
noise
Shot.
don't do nothing. All that noise, it don't do shit. Ow.
I don't know what's happening.
Anyway.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, I sorry I interrupted.
Who's calling the hood a Chihuahua? That's a Chihuahua right there. Put that Chihuahua down. We don't want that shit.
I interrupted. Retro was about to give some thoughts when I wanted to preface my my expectations, or my not really my expectations, the way I was judging in looking at the direct.
I'm gonna say based off your premise that I went into this direct when they said like we're gonna like show games for like winter, and like I said, usually winter is up until March and shit. So I wasn't even expecting a lot of new shit. I was expecting like maybe 1 or 2 new things and stuff. You know, I was expecting the Smash character, maybe some new shit. But I mean, with how many games Nintendo still has lined up and shit, I was expecting to just see all the stuff we already knew was coming. Even then, I was like 40 fucking minutes. 40 minutes is a long ass time to show shit we already know. So
And they didn't even
I
show
was-
everything.
I didn't go.
They did show Advance Wars.
Exactly. I was expecting Advance Wars. The second game specifically, they haven't really shown anything of it yet, and that's coming this year. So I was pleasantly surprised by all of that, especially because I have the hype for Direct, but I wasn't expecting much considering how much we already knew was coming. But man,
Well, yeah, that's
man.
right. Like, for instance, they had they had no Advance Wars, no Big Brain Academy. They had Shin Megami Tensei in a sizzle.
Yeah,
reel.
that was just like Scissor Reel was like gone.
That was surprising.
Yeah, I was.
they
Kinda,
push
They did show it quite a bit the last time though.
They did,
Yeah.
they did,
I mean,
but it just
good.
still, I feel like that's a game that you.
But yeah,
wanna
I
be
think they
pushing.
would have, because that comes out
You know.
what, November?
No, December.
December. Yeah, I
They
think
It
got
does?
time to put
I
out.
thought that
Or
was
no,
the
it's
November
November
game.
10th.
No, you're talking about-
10th.
Shin Megami Tensei was their
Yeah,
November
it's
game, or it was a
November
November
10th.
game and not theirs.
I'm pretty
but-
sure it's December.
That's December, I think.
It's November 11th. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I just looked it up.
who's December
November
then?
11th.
Advance Wars
December
was
is
a
Advance Wars.
December
December
game.
is-
Advance Wars, that's what it is.
If
And
that
Big
didn't get
Brain
pushed.
Academy, Brain versus Brain.
We're not talking about that.
And they just
Wow, that's
released
coming out-
that like art game with the pen. I know that's not Nintendo, but
Yeah, I
that,
don't
that
think
just
it's
came
Nintendo.
out like it was stealth launched. Hardly any hype for that. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't
Need that
mention
shit.
WarioWare.
WarioWare, they just have WarioWare. That's why it's
I
like
mean,
to
to
that's
be
why I
honest, they
figured.
showed. Oh, go ahead.
I know. I was just saying essentially what you're saying. That I just figured they were gonna show repeats and then 1 or 2 announcements, which I guess technically was about.
That's
We
what
got
I was
some
thinking,
dates for like
exactly,
Triangle
yeah.
Strategy, which is
Which
still
I think
winter.
Triangle Strategy is the name now. It's
Yeah,
just
that's the name.
Triangle Strategy.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. Thing.
Whack.
You know what makes me mad? I like that team's work, but fix this fucking naming
They can't
structure.
name a
you
game
Yeah.
and save their lives.
This
Bro,
is
that's
so
what they did with the
stupid.
Save. They said Project Octopath Traveler. Oh, we're just gonna drop the project name. Project
I
Triangle
like
Strategy.
Octopath
We're just
Traveler.
gonna
It
drop.
works.
Octopath
Yeah.
doesn't bother me much because that one at least
No, it
works.
sounds fine,
It
but
makes
like
sense
I'm,
for the game and shit. but-
I can't
So
wait to
now
play.
we know that
But
their
triangle
next game-
strategy. Triangle strategy. You could say Fire Emblem is triangle strategy.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
yeah.
I can't
but
wait to
I mean,
play
the
Eve next
game
year.
is just-
If you know what I mean, that one game,
Well,
Eve.
It sounds like a project name.
oh.
Yeah,
It's
I
a bad name.
I was
Oh, that's
waiting for
true,
them
yeah,
to
yeah.
reveal the name. I was like, wait, it's just Triangle Strategy. That's
That's
Yeah.
lazy.
that's pretty bad.
That's
Triangle
lazy
strategy.
as hell.
I would have taken Triangle Tactics at least.
Right,
At least that
yeah,
give me some
Triangle
feel
Tactics.
like
Or no, call it Tri Tactics. If not,
Sounds
Tri
like-
Tactics. You know, something like
Tri-Tactics.
yeah, that'll give me some feels of Final Fantasy Tactics and whatnot. That was like, oh
They're
yeah.
yeah.
gonna try
I hate it.
tactics angles.
I just hate it because
No.
the game.
Why you had to mess it up,
Wow.
so that
What triangles?
so that's
Yeah.
one of the games I only saw through T's pretty choppy stream.
Yeah, it was choppy.
And I haven't
Just
rewatched.
That's what happens when you don't test your shit before
I
you go
didn't
on.
rewatch that trailer
Oh.
direct feed, and my thought watching it through T's stream was like, I'm not impressed by this art style anymore. Like, this is what, the third time they've done it, or second?
Oh, second.
Well, Bravely Default has a similar in one of the towns, I guess. I think it's like
that.
it's not
That
the
was
same, but
2D.
but then they
Yeah,
also
that is
showed that
2D.
remake of Dragon Quest using it, didn't they?
Dragon Quest is probably
Dragon Quest
yeah.
does
But
that,
it was
yeah,
probably
Dragon-
just the low quality and choppiness of the stream.
Oh yeah, if you
Well,
look, when I went back and looked it
Let
up
me
on
look it
direct
up
feed,
right
I was
now.
like, damn.
You also have
This
the
shit
other
looks
game that's
fantastic.
using it. You also have to use the other game that used it, but I fucking forgot what it was called. The one that plays like Golden Sun a bit with the revolving camera and shit, the turn-based one.
Oh,
Or
you're talking about? It's not by the
Colton
same
will say he would
team,
fucking
but
know it.
it's like
No, but I mean, it's the exact same style. The
no, I know what you're
pixelated
saying.
with like
Yeah,
the flashy
I don't remember.
shit.
I don't remember the name though.
That was in the PlayStation showcase. Is
Yeah.
that-
Yeah,
okay,
it's in the Sony showcase.
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Let's
Yeah,
check
it's
this
Ooh,
out.
I don't know.
I can never get enough of that style. It's hella sexy.
I will say, yeah, you gotta watch direct feed for some of these games. Like for example,
Okay, that looks way better.
I'll give an example. When I looked up Bayonetta 3 on the stream, didn't
Yeah, it
look
looked like
as great.
I didn't like it
But
in the stream, but
And then I went and looked up the direct feed. I'm like, oh shit, this is running at 60. You couldn't even tell. I couldn't tell on the stream. If you
Yeah,
go
it
look
looks
up the-
pretty
the
good,
direct
pretty
feed,
clean.
it
Yeah, the
looks way
triangle
better.
strategy. I love that art. That art style is crazy.
I like this. I'm more surprised it's coming out. Well,
I
guess
still I guess the wow factor's been lowered since the
Well,
first
yeah,
time,
yeah,
obviously.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
it
you
looks,
also
it
don't
looks
play
good.
these. You also
course.
don't play these kind of games.
I like
Did
that you
you
can
even
move the.
get this bitch? How you gonna be worn out? You didn't even get this bit. You didn't even get Octopath, did you?
I know.
That's
I'm
what I'm
just.
saying.
I say in the. It just
I'm
doesn't
tired of it.
blow my mind like the first time I seen it, but it does look way better in this direct feed.
No, no,
and this-
Oh,
it
no,
looks
it
real.
look-
Look at
it
the
looks
water.
way
The
better.
water. Look at the water.
I'm
The water looks
100% cool.
I'll
with
be
this
judging
art
it off
style.
my stream shit.
I know, but that was my thought during it.
Available March 4th. That means we have a March date.
I can't wait to play
Yeah,
that in 4K on Game Pass 3 years from now.
Yeah, because Octopath is on everything now, isn't it? I know it's
Yeah,
on
like
PC.
3 years later.
Octopath came to everything after a few years. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't.
Just the ponies that be trying to downplay Game Pass.
No, you can't. 3 years after a game comes out, you can't be all like hyping a game you didn't play on the
Yeah.
Switch.
Also, well, see, PlayStation users.
Well, we do that all the time on Switch. What you talking about? All these
Hey,
old
look,
games
look.
come out. Oh man, that looks
We
old.
do, I don't.
That game came out 10 years
To be
ago. And
fair, and
I
to
mean,
be
a lot of
fair,
Switch
we're talk-
fans
we're-
do that. You're right.
We're also talking about a genre that Xbox players don't play at all. They don't play no fucking RPGs.
Hell no.
Yeah, that's when you see an Xbox guy say that, though. That's where I'm just like, all
Ain't playing that
right,
shit.
all right, man.
Yeah,
You don't give a
see, now
shit.
you lying.
You don't
I
care
know
about the
lying.
game. You just care because it's 4K on the Xbox.
Exactly. No one said that when it
Yeah.
came to Stadia. Ugh.
I play RPGs on Xbox. I play old ass RPGs from original Xbox. Man.
Yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
but you're not a traditional Xbox fan, T. We don't. We can't count you.
That is true. I'm not one of the dude bros.
You got to shoot everything. If you don't shoot everything, you ain't.
I gotta shoot a lot.
You ain't
I
a real
see a lot of
Xbox-
like,
I'm a Halo fan that likes the campaign. Oh shit.
I see a lot of like little clips on Twitter of people who are playing like the beta or whatever, and I'm like, of the Halo multiplayer, and I'm like,
I ain't.
is this? I mean, is that really? Are they just? I know the multiplayer is popular. It's always been popular.
That was like that's.
But
like,
it
to me,
really
Halo's
feels
selling
like
point.
I mean, we haven't seen since the Craig
Bruh, yeah.
incident. You haven't seen the campaign like gameplay
But
since
here's the
then.
thing. The Halo dudes, they're happy because they can. It's a sigh of relief. It's like, oh, 343 didn't fuck this shit up like we
Yeah.
thought they were. You know, it's like, oh, thank God, it's actually good. So they're just rejoicing over that. Like
I'm just
not
like,
even a big
but
multiplayer
where
dude,
is this? I mean, I'm just curious what their strategy is.
Yeah, I want to see the.
showing-
I want to see the single player.
They're trying to
campaign.
sell the single player as a full
60
price
all in.
game by itself with the multiplayer being free. I'm just curious what their thinking is with that. So we'll see when they start promoting it.
Yeah.
Which you would think would be very, very, very.
Well, it comes out
soon.
December.
Well, they're not
Yeah.
selling it. It's on Game Pass. What you talking
It's
about?
October next week.
It's still gotta.
It's on Game Pass free.
No, it's end of this week. October's the end of this week.
Oh shit! Jesus!
Yeah, October 1st is Friday.
Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday. Yeah.
Oh my god,
I don't know, bro.
dude!
You know.
Time is flying.
Sometimes I be wanting to buy Xbox and then I can't justify it in any way, shape.
What are you trying to get Xbox for?
I'm just saying. It's one of those things where people are like, "Oh man, you need to try this before you talk shit about it." I'm like, "Sure," and then I'm looking at the system.
You want to get it so you can talk shit, yo?
No, I wanted to get it to give it a legit shot, and then I can't justify it. That's my problem. That's my issue. I'm looking at it, I'm like,
so, what do you guys just want to like talk through like the highlights for you for the direct?
We could go. Why don't we just go down the list and if everyone say something, we just keep going.
Well, I mean,
we spent 20 minutes. I guess we jumped around to a couple games.
We jumped around though. Yeah, we jumped around.
I got the direct open, so I can just go down the list, and if anyone wants to say about it,
all right.
Say
I feel like the next thing to show is Super Mario Party.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, that's
looking good, man.
Clean looking game.
They showed off the rest of the boards.
Plus, they're adding like maps to Mario
Everything's
Party
online. Every mode.
So
every mode is online.
So right now we're up to 8 maps already, and I'm sure there's gonna be more.
No, it's 5 maps.
It's just 5. Dude.
No, they said they showed 3 new ones.
Yeah, they showed the other 3
new ones, but that's 5.
So there's only 5 boards.
Yeah, they showed 2 in E3, and then they showed the other 3.
Oh no,
is that like the only good 5 games, or is that like the 5 best boards from all the N64 games?
Yeah,
it's definitely some of the best for
the best boards. I don't know.
So
I will say the boards have not been touched and like re-simplified or none of that bullshit.
But they look it's one of the best looking Switch games, I think.
My issue is it's gonna run into it's gonna be a less annoying version of Mario Party, the Mario Party on Switch, the first one, where you're gonna be like, oh, this game is fun, but why aren't there more boards? That's the only problem I see right now.
Yeah.
Why aren't there more boards in
the only thing is the boards, game? Honestly. It's the only thing
that's it. Yeah, that is it.
I mean, I want to say I see Nintendo with the way they are now. They updated and they add more shit.
They'll add a couple, for sure.
Does Nintendo really update everything they should be updating? You know, like it's kind of
they update Mario Party years later, so
I can see them easily adding more.
You think free boards, or you think they're gonna try to sell packs?
I think they can
be free. I think it'll be free.
I'll say free.
Considering Mario Golf, they added stuff for free. I can see them do that here too.
So I'm tempted. I mean, it's really gonna be. I talked about playing a game for 50 hours, really justified. I wouldn't see getting more than 5-10 hours out of that game tops in its life.
Look, one thing I will say is
we're not gonna play it.
Mario Party, dude. Mario Party, that's like I've been waiting.
We'll play it 5 times tops. 5 times tops. That's feeling pretty generous. Probably twice.
That's 10 hours. That's
probably
more.
10 hours right now.
1 to 2
10 hours
times.
More. Oh man, come on!
There's no way we'll be playing.
But the reason why I say that is, Juice. I've played all these Mario parties by myself.
Wow. So yeah, you also got to remember.
Oh really? Yeah,
I'm
not playing Mario Party like solo.
I played Mario Party as solo all the time.
I don't know why you would do that.
But how do you do that? How does that even
just by playing?
No, you play with AI.
The AI's got to be terrible in those games.
AI is cheap as hell though.
I even had it where I remember there was one time where my grandfather, this was his way of spending time with me, where he sat down one day and he watched me just play Mario Party 10 a whole match, which is pretty long. It gets pretty long, and he just sat there quiet. We're just quiet. He's just quiet, and I'm just playing, and he just sat right next to me watching. He didn't play. He just watched.
I mean, I would love. I think it would be fun
for you, man.
What?
I want to cry for you, man. That's a sad story in my house.
I played with my sister, and I played with like a few friends like a couple times. But I think I've played more of Sonic and the Secret Rings party modes with people than Mario Party. Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah, if we were like the Wii U era where we're playing game nights.
I was gonna say I haven't done it.
Like if we were having game nights every Friday, Saturday, or every
with
other,
Party,
I would buy Mario Party without a doubt.
I will make sure with Mario Party because that is so.
How many times you guys played?
Bruh, we ain't got to it yet, but N64 games online. I mean, come on, bruh. Come on.
All right, let's just go down. I think that's all I have.
Unless that shit cost me much, it didn't kiss my ass.
Listen. So the next things are just that Square Enix card game.
Yeah, that
comes out
exciting.
at the end of next month.
That doesn't quite do anything
right there,
man.
That really moved the needle.
Yeah.
The artwork was
Chobo
so good. The music
GP.
was so incredible.
Chocobo.
I'm like waiting for the actual game to pop up.
all you're gonna do is just rip the soundtrack. That's what I'm gonna do. Then you had Disco Elysium Final Cut,
Which I am gonna play that. I
I
have.
thought that was
insanely good
announced,
things.
wasn't it? I
I've
swear
heard
that
good
was
things
announced
about it.
before.
I don't think
for
it was.
Switch.
I kind of feel like it was, but it wasn't.
I feel like I
apparently.
knew it was
And
coming to Switch, but people said that it was a new
I mean,
announcement.
that one's a good. I've heard good things about it.
I heard
it
that
comes
shit's like a masterpiece. Like people were like talk that shit
Yeah.
up so highly.
It
Isn't
comes
that
out.
Game of the Year contender or some shit?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. It comes out October 12th, and then the physical version comes out early 2022. So
And that Final Cut, by the way, is a newer thing. It came out this year. So
Yeah, it is.
It's
Yeah,
not like it's like
that's what I was thinking of because they added some like voice acting or something.
voice acting and stuff. Yeah.
And then the next thing is the Breath of the Wild Age of Calamity DLC.
Now that was a weird trailer because I still have no idea what it is, but it looked
Hyrule Warriors, you mean, bro?
Yeah,
it
listen,
looked
listen.
intriguing. But am I getting like actual new
Yeah,
I
content
think so.
and how
think-
much? You know, like
It's not what you always cried about in Hyrule Warriors.
it's not
the
what I
original
thought
one.
the original Hyrule Warriors
Challenge
season
match.
pass.
Also,
It's
this
not
is the
that.
original-
It's actually
also-
new story content.
this is the original expansion pass. Dude. Like this isn't like a new expansion.
I know,
pass.
but they never really detailed the second one hardly. Now this is the first time you actually seen anything from it.
Instead of giving you a massive list to read in like 1.2
I know.
seconds, they could have
I got-
have detailed a
They
little
could
bit,
have said what-
like
Okay, I got it. I
the
got it up
content
now.
of the story or the length
Nintendo
of
ain't
it. or
detailed their-
something.
All right, look, I got it. I got it up right now. It says new story, battle for Kariko Village, battle for Gompoka Village, and more. New stages, the Coliseum, and more. New
The
added
story is
playable,
interesting.
new
There you
added
go,
playable
story.
characters,
Agent.
Pura and Robbie, and one more after that.
Horror.
And
Well, they're
then
together.
added-
It's a duo.
yeah, they're dead.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's one more
Oh
after them,
man.
and then added actions for existing characters,
Okay.
which I guess
I'm-
is,
I mean, I think you can only get it as
What
part
are
of
you
the
saying
season
when you're
pass.
saying it's a duo?
they're together.
It's a
Like
single.
Ice Climbers?
Like
You
Ice
play
like
Climbers.
them
Ice
at the
Climbers.
same time?
Yeah.
Yes,
Like where
yes,
is that
yes.
confirmed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
Where
got
was
from
it
that.
confirmed?
When they put it, when you see it in the trailer and when you read it on the list, they don't view them as like separate. They don't go
But-
Pura,
But
comma
Yeah.
Robbie,
see them quite
comma
separately, and then in
Animal.
like a small thing, you see them. I thought they were separate characters. I don't
No,
know.
they're-
I'm pretty confident.
character.
I'm not gonna sit there and act like I know, but
I'm
that's
gonna say same character. It's same character.
because the
I-
way they
I
showcased them.
doubt that.
Unless they were just playing like right on top of each other in every scene, like
They had very different attacks and shit. Maybe they were on the same battlefield because there were
no,
multiple
they're
players.
special.
Like,
They're specialists together.
that's true.
Like
I guess, but like Rex isn't Smash's special. Like I don't see how that change. I don't know. I'd have to see that.
That's
I highly
right.
doubt
it's not.
they
It's
would
not the
have-
same.
they would be together as one character. That sounds really strange.
When
to me.
they show them on the battlefield together, running together.
Let's watch it.
Oh yeah,
I
but
didn't even notice they were running together.
That's the point of the game, though.
No. I have
Let's
to-
watch it
it's
and
on-
decide.
It's at the very end of the expansion pass trailer, by the way. It's like at 7
Yeah, you
minutes.
see them together in a small cutscene because they both knew, but that's like I
We're
don't
gonna
know.
No,
vote. The
they're
chat.
specialists
Everybody's
together.
gonna vote here. Let's watch it, and then everybody in the chat.
You might want to just jump to the end for them because they're only at the end of the trailer.
And then we.
I wanna
and then we
see
move
this.
on to
Oh, I
the
mean, if
next
you
one.
want to see it,
If
that's
you
fine.
if you think they're two separate characters, put a 2. If you think that it's a duo, you play. It's one
duo.
selectable character for both of them. Put a 1. Let's
I'm
see
gonna
though.
say
Shit choppy as hell for me. I don't know about y'all.
You watching it through
No.
the Discord stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, it's not choppy right now.
Well, for me, it's not. I'm just saying.
It's looking pretty good for me.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
are
I'm
all-
intrigued. But if it's like 2 missions and 2 to 3
No, it's-
cutscenes, then
I
I'd
think
be
it's-
like, I ain't paying 20. But
The
I'm
way-
glad that
when you
they're
see-
adding something.
when you see at the end of the trailer, they'll show like
So you're
That's
from the
a
little
glass-
cutscene where she's on the ball and stuff.
Let's
and
wait.
he's,
Well,
like,
no, when
running next to her.
yeah, like when they do this, I think these are all separate battles. I think these are all separate events you do.
All right,
So
here it
here's
comes.
the part where yeah,
What? Oh, let's see. What was this?
So you're gonna see them like
this
Oh.
is their special.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
a
I
special.
see.
Yeah.
See, they're right there.
Okay. All right.
That's
And
that's
then
my
what
get.
I'm
That's
doing is- I
that's
get
what I'm
through
saying. I ain't say that
I
it's
see. I see what you're
100%,
saying.
but I
All
feel
That's what I
like.
saw the first time I saw it. I was like, oh.
All right, what do we
Actually,
got?
Emma,
Oh,
See,
I
Retro Death said, oh, you said two separate. Royal Hustler says 1, 2, 1, 1. It's a duo. 2, 2. So I guess it's unclear what that portrayed.
Well, once they see
Astral
that,
Chain
I think
style,
more
that's
people
what
will be
kind of
like,
I
okay.
was thinking.
All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
still,
Astral Chain.
I still just view that as a duo.
We'll see.
yeah,
That's
have
what
to
I
change
got
my
from it.
voice
I
like
mean,
that
it comes
too.
out at the end of next month, so we'll
Yeah, I
know
guess we'll see.
soon enough. The next thing
Kirby?
is the
Or the
the
Smash?
Chocobo.
Oh, Chocobo.
Nope, the screen.
That was honestly one of the highlights for me. Chocobo
Yeah.
racing.
Hell's yeah,
Chocobo
man.
looking good.
It looked good. It legit looked like the Mario
I'm-
Kart 9 that we needed.
It looks like they
Wow.
pulled some tracks, some moments straight out of Mario Kart 8, but that's,
Oh, 100%.
as long as
like,
it controls good and it's fun.
It looked like
Yeah.
they were making some tight turns. That's why I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. That's
64
I'm looking at the
player like
footage.
tournament bracket.
Yes,
that sounds
64
pretty
players.
cool.
Like, what the fuck? And then they said it's exclusive to Switch, at least for now. They haven't said it, but
That's more
that was
surprising.
surprising to me. I thought that
Yeah,
would be
like,
multiplayer.
that's what
But
I
you
was
know
thinking
why,
too.
don't you? You know why, don't you? Because that's the kind of game that would sell better on Switch.
Well, yeah, they
Nintendo
look at
fans
Mario
are
Kart
mad
8
at
sales.
PC
Come on.
shit, that's why.
Yeah, because
like,
Mario Kart, they're and
want
I honestly
35
feel like
million.
they're taking advantage of no Mario Kart 9. They're like taking advantage. They're like, all right,
I think
dude,
that
these
game's
games are-
guaranteed, without question, 3 million guaranteed just by releasing it, whether it's good or
Yeah.
not. 3 million.
That's fair.
I'm looking forward to it though. It does
Really?
look good.
I think it's gonna do.
I think it's going to do
It's gonna
more,
do
but I think
Metroid.
minimum.
I think it's easy 5 million, easy. Because
I
it's not
think
just like
it would do.
the
The only
game.
thing, well, go ahead.
The
Go
game,
ahead.
talking about Chocobo?
the game looks
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
good, but yeah, it's
Chocobo
Chocobo. It's
GP,
Final
it's gonna do 5
Fantasy
million
and shit.
copies.
Like that shit
Yeah, I
just
don't
by
think so.
name sells already.
I've
No,
heard
but
people
I-
talking
I-
about the
listen,
music.
listen.
Everybody
Listen.
I watched a lot of reactions like, "Oh my god, that music, that remix of from this game and this game."
Listen.
Like,
My only issue is it would sell more if you put Final Fantasy characters in. That's the only thing.
Right, that game is not.
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all talking about. You be lucky to get a mill out of that. I'm telling you.
Damn.
Yeah, I actually agree with T on that too. I'm like,
really? I
don't
think it
think-
sells a mill in the first
The
week.
marketability.
I think it'll sell a million. I think it'll sell a million, but I don't think it's gonna be.
First week it sells a
multi-million.
million.
98% of people.
That's a
what the fuck is
ballsy
Chocobo?
statement. I wouldn't even say that. That's
Nobody know what that shit is.
I don't
If
know,
they
man.
market it, they'd have to
if
market
they
it.
if they had
If it
pushed
just
Final
stealth
Fantasy-
release it,
to me, if
comes
it had
out.
Final
They will.
Fantasy,
That's the thing.
if it had Final Fantasy characters in it, it would be more likely to sell more.
It's a budget game. They ain't gonna put a market team behind that shit. That shit is not gonna be marketed.
Yeah.
But admittedly, if they do market it and honestly, it could sell really well. It's just if they want to give it the time.
I don't know if it's gonna blow doors off, but it'll do well.
I think it has the potential to
especially
be like,
to do
oh,
some
this is-
crossover
I
stuff.
think if
That's what they need.
Nintendo also markets it, it could end up being like a Switch seller for like be like, oh look,
It
this is a
depends-
new
you
Switch
know what it
game.
re-
Look at
It depends on when in 2022 it comes out. Like if it's
if it's like summer 2022, I think that could do really good.
yeah, it'd be fine. May or June or July, I think
Something
those
like
are
that.
all fine.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it. I think it looks pretty dope.
I just hope is that the controls are good, because like Robert said,
Yeah.
the main thing in kart, I like all kinds of kart races. I don't care if it's a kart racer, I'm gonna have fun. But the main thing that can destroy the fun is if turning is done really terribly and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
let's wait and see
Yep.
how that
That
goes.
was
But it
the-
looks
Yeah.
good.
It
How's
does
it gonna
look. It
control
looks,
around them
it
corners?
looks
That's
nice and
the key.
tight, at least from that one turn. That one turn gave me hope. I was like,
That
okay.
one turn gave you hope. Yeah. So the
I
next
don't remember the
thing,
PlayStation wasn't controlling that well, but then again, that shit was like on a D-pad. So.
oh yeah, we don't talk about that. You don't play kart races with D-pads if you don't have to.
No, unless you're a pony.
Oh.
Unless you're an early
definitely-
day pony. I should
It'll
say.
definitely sell. It would sell the best on the Switch. I mean,
Yeah.
Switch would outsell any other version if it was multi.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna do that.
And it looked
Yeah.
like visually, it looks really clean. It looks really
Yeah.
Yeah, looks
It's
smooth.
clean. It is clean.
That's another
So
one
what-
I haven't watched direct feed of.
good. You should
That
see it's
one-
in
that
60
one
frames, yo. It's 60 frames per second.
That one looks pretty good.
Like made for you, Juice.
The next thing is the Smash Direct announcement for next week.
Yeah,
That shit got my
Announcement
soul.
of an announcement. Woo!
That got
They
on
did
my
that
soul, man. I was
twice.
like, come on.
Yeah, they did
Oh,
with that
no.
Animal Crossing.
I don't mind just having Sakurai do it. Right then and there, show the character. So I don't mind that. I just thought it was kind of Did they need to tell us in the direct that was coming on?
You know why?
100%
I
they did.
think the the reason they told us in the direct is because of the game that followed, so that you wouldn't be expecting Smash from that.
No,
I think it would
I
have
don't
been
know.
better
So
Why
to.
would you
one thing-
expect the Smash
100%.
from that?
No,
was
no,
there
no.
any filler in this direct? Were you sitting there like, oh man, I wish they would move on?
Nothing
Not
lasted.
really.
There was nothing lasted long enough for me
Yeah,
to
I'm
say
like
that.
I thought it moved pretty well. So
Yeah,
if they
there-
had slowed, I mean, they probably wanted a nice tight 40-minute direct.
Yeah.
If they had like went into Smash.
Well, no, what I'm saying is
They
don't
did.
even announce to have nothing. Just have the whole direct play without mentioning
Because then
the Sakurai.
everybody was going into the direct.
I know
Or
But
Smash,
some
right?
of them
that would have
don't
meant
bring us Smash.
that would have made
It'd been
every
mad
reveal.
crying if people didn't know
That would have
you
made
were gonna
every
put-
I
trailer
will
more
say this,
exciting though. Like
No,
every trailer, you're like,
well,
is this
what
Smash? Is this Smash? You know?
But what I'll say though is the thing is that they needed it because people were expecting Smash, and also
Right,
I've
yeah.
noticed from your guys' reactions that you guys thought that the next trailer was Smash related, but it said nothing about Smash related. I found it so funny because like they completely said like and take a look at this it was like next game, like the way
Yeah.
they say it, and I was like,
didn't
and I
hear
remember.
that when I was watching it.
And I remember, well, no, same thing with Retro. It's like, well, it's like this has to do with Smash, and I'm thinking like, I don't think he quite heard it. That has nothing to do
That's
with
why I
it.
thought it was. I just thought it was
The way
weird to
I
put
said
that there.
So the reason it is Smash related though, that's why I said it. I was like, okay, the saying is not going to
Smash
be
related.
Smash. The saying is not going to be Smash, or is it going to be related? It's Kirby. It's hell, you know, like all that stuff.
No,
it's
come
like,
on, that's not.
But
That's not the
That's
same
a
thing.
read.
They could have been
That's
trolling
weird.
though. They
Yeah,
could have
yeah,
trolled
yeah.
us. They
It's
could
so
have
that
trolled.
when you see Kirby, you know you're not going to be expecting Smash from it. You know that what you're seeing is
No,
what
I
you're
wasn't
gonna
expecting
get.
Smash because they said they weren't going to
They
announce
said
it
they
right
weren't
now.
going to show it.
Bro,
So
I
why
heard
would I
people
expect
saying-
But
that?
that's the whole reason, because they told you it wasn't gonna be Smash.
No.
If they hadn't told you that,
Look, I get it because I
I
heard
wouldn't
people
have went
saying.
into Kirby going, damn, that's Smash Brothers. Like,
I heard
that's
people
what I'm
saying when they saw Kirby and whatnot. Heard people saying, "Is this a mode in Smash?" Like they did not hear it.
That's
I found
why
it
that
so
was my
true.
point. I
Well,
thought
'cause
it was weird to announce.
Even I remember T. You said he's like Kirby's the final character. What's going on?
Yeah, like I said, it
I
was
didn't
just.
hear it. I completely missed it. So
I just
Okay,
thought it
well,
would have been
I'll
put it
better
this way,
to
look,
announce
the
that
first-
the Smash
this, though.
thing before the direct.
The
as a-
first thing I thought when I saw it was, oh, is that Splatoon 3? That was like the first thing that came out of my mind.
I
Yeah,
had
it
that
looked like
thought.
Oh, so are we on the Kirby? Are we on the Kirby?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then the thing right after Smash is Kirby, yeah.
Yeah, we're on the
It
Kirby.
was gonna be fucking
I predicted
Mario
Kirby, yo. I predicted Kirby the first thing. I said I think.
Kirby,
it's
you
Kirby.
know what? Kirby's like the safest bet you can make because Kirby doesn't go like maybe a year or two.
Well,
without
there's been rumblings of
it's
Kirby.
different though. Not the safe
No.
Kirby
You're right.
that we get.
You're right, but I'm just saying predicting Kirby to be in the direct isn't a crazy.
No, because when they popped it up, I was just like,
3D
to me,
Kirby, sure.
to me, it was like, all right, I think this looks. But I did say Donkey Kong afterwards. But I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
it did look
hold on,
like
this is-
Donkey Kong trees there.
the
Yeah.
trees.
I
Yeah,
went,
I
I
was
went, I went
I was
immediately.
thinking of,
I would have blasted my
Biomutant.
pants.
This
And
man
plus
said,
we had
bio,
the-
is this Biomutant?
yeah, so the first thing I said biomutant because they have just those like buildings with the grass overgrown, but it
That'd be a
didn't
big
look like it. That
downgrade.
was like biomutant and stuff. And then I legit thought it was gonna be like Mario Kart 9 for a second because you
Oh, that would be great though.
see the level with the escalators.
The
That's
Coconut Mall,
literally
Coconut
a
Mall.
Mario Kart racetrack.
Yeah,
That's
When
literally
it
a
comes
Mario
to
Kart
weird,
racetrack.
when it comes to weird architecture,
Yeah, I
and
wonder if that
structures,
ties in.
I would think Splatoon almost immediately. That's the first thing I went.
I
to.
wonder if that ties into some of those environments tie into anything we've ever seen in other Nintendo games. Like you said,
Maybe.
that the
Well,
escalator.
I saw that. I was like, holy shit! It's The Last of Us, dude.
Shut up. Shut up.
They made it, dude. This is literally The Last of Kirby, man. They
Don't
made a
have-
post-apocalyptic.
hey,
Bro,
don't do
it's
all
a
that.
post. They said it themselves. It's a post-apocalyptic Kirby.
That's because they
It's
do
legit.
that.
Have you seen
listen,
those
you understand.
memes already? Because you have like those Last of Us memes where you see like the Last of Us background with
Oh,
Kirby
really?
with like Joel's hair. And
Oh,
shit. It's so
The
good.
problem is
That's
that
two things that don't go together: post-apocalyptic and Kirby.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of Horizon.
Does not go
you
together.
say that, but Kirby tends to do that weird shit where they have an incredibly cute character in an incredibly weirdly dark situation.
Yeah.
Although the
Yeah,
dark
yeah.
situation in other games
Crystal
is usually,
Shard, Joe. Crystal Shard.
yeah, like we're gonna destroy
Yeah.
the world. That's usually
Yeah.
the
So
darkness of
I'm
it.
just gonna get this out of the way so you guys can, give me shit about it. I'm what's the word? I'm optimistic after that trailer, but when it comes right down to it, it still hell, and it's still Kirby. So I'm not super excited.
You don't like Kirby.
About I'm guessing a very linear, a very easy. That's my fear. I'm not saying that's what it will be. That's until they show me. And you know that final boss looked different, looked pretty cool. Until they show me different, my mindset until probably until reviews come out is gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. It's a very simple, like almost can't die. You know, very linear type of game. That's what I'm trying to. That's what my mind went to when I saw it.
I'm just happy the game doesn't fucking play itself.
I'll say this.
It does look better than Star Allies.
Kirby,
though.
I always view Kirby kind of in the same tier as Yoshi games, where they were kind of like they were the easier of the platformers. They weren't necessarily like ridiculous hard. But Kirby, I thought the whole point of Kirby was like the main game would be pretty easy, chill. And then, like, if you try to get everything in Kirby, is when it really
that's where the Kirby fun kicks in.
But the original Kirby was hard. I got lost, like, constantly.
Yeah, and there are hard Kirby games.
There are hard, but I just figured that, like, when I based it off, like,
I got
Crystal Shards was not easy.
I got some game overs in 64.
Like, the 3DS games are kind of like a good balance of the
3DS games are like a good, they're a good balance of both.
See, I Planet Robobot, whatever. Like, to me, I was, like, sleepwalking through that game. Like, I was not... Yeah. I just couldn't wait to get to the end of the level and get to the next level. Like I was,
like Kirby, man.
I was not.
I was prejudice against pink puffballs. That's all.
I saw.
No, I love the way Kirby. I love Kirby's core mechanics, but the games just don't hold my attention. It's kind of like with ukulele. I just got bored to the point where I'm just gonna keep playing, but I'm not like looking forward to the next level. I'm just gonna play it because I want to be done with it.
For me, like I saw that whole Forbidden Land, right? They call it Forbidden Land, Forgotten Land. And I like the whole like it's just the aesthetic, the idea.
I like this setting,
cool. And I like the fact that I mean it's a damn 3D Kirby. I know some people are saying like now all of a sudden we're starting to get to is it a 3D world type style? Is it 3D? Like bro, like come on, come on.
That's still 3D.
3D world's fucking greatest. I don't know why we gotta act like all the time they people act like it's not true 3D. Blah blah blah. Fuck off.
I thought it was cool seeing a transformation in the actual 3D and having them swipe the sword at the foot of the boss. I'm like, all right, like that looked promising.
Cool. Yeah, you're in that arena and the guy in the giant like thing ape dude just grabs you through the window and goes like holy shit. Kirby just
I was really I was waiting at the end to see, because I was hoping this was the actual 3D Mario team that instead of the Donkey Kong game that was rumored. I was hoping this was it.
That would be cool.
Because then I would be cool. Like totally
on board.
Yeah, hyped. But I'm hoping it's good. Like I said, it looks promising, but I just have that fear that it's just like someone said it doesn't have to be Dark Souls. Who said it had to be super hard? Like I just don't want like a really linear like cakewalk game.
It doesn't look you kind of all right. So I went back and rewatched the trailer. It's one of those things that if you looked at just like the main stuff going on, you wouldn't notice it. But in a lot of the background shots of certain levels, you can tell there's way more to go around. I feel like this might be more exploration based.
That might be one to watch like a game explain analysis on. That trailer would probably benefit for me, like to see what they could pull from the background shot, stuff happening in the backgrounds and try to come up with, some ideas of where it might be going with the game.
For sure. It just feels like it's going to be a cool adventure, and that's why I came with
this. I think the draw for me is going to be the exploration more than the actual like difficulty. Just like
the fuck is Ipster's talking about?
Well, it's the same thing with.
Fuck are you talking about?
What happened? What's happening?
Jesus.
The thing is, I would say it's the same thing with Tearaway.
See, Tearaway looks beautiful. I love the setting. It's just, to me, it's just like I'm so checked out with what I'm doing. Like, okay, I guess I'll go do the next thing. And it's like.
But for me, that's an adventure, man. You're going through these areas, and that's why, like, I kind of view Kirby like that. This game, and so. I'm cool with that.
I think Kirby, from what I've seen and from me rewatching the trailer, it very much looks more like the exploration's going to be top notch.
See, I didn't get the exploration vibes from watching that.
You wanna know why? It's because I started looking at the background of certain shots. That's what made me
Okay.
think. Like if you just look at the where he was walking, you wouldn't notice it. But if you go back and rewatch it a couple times, you'll see it.
Well, just like Bowser's Fury. I mean,
Gotcha.
in the background, there's all this cool stuff, and then you get there, and you're like, that looked really cool in the distance, but it wasn't a very good area. There was one area that was really
like
good.
it's a disappointment. I got you.
There wasn't that much to do.
The thing with Kirby for me is simple. It doesn't need to be easy or hard. I just want to be in this charming world and enjoy myself walking around. And that was my problem with Star Allies. You couldn't enjoy walking around because everybody's beating the shit out of everything.
Yeah, it definitely looks better than Star
Kirby
Allies.
to me is all about the fucking charm, right? The charm and like trying to 100% it. It's but yeah, you're right about Allies, Star Allies, man. That shit was just. It's just you walking around watching your friends beat the fuck out of everybody. That's
yeah.
While you just chilling.
So I really like the Rainbow Curse music. Kirby the Rainbow Curse's music.
Mm-hmm.
It was
awesome. What was the next thing they showed?
The Animal Crossing Direct announcement.
Okay. No.
Dude, so greatest, man.
You have two October Directs. You'll have Smash and then Animal Crossing at some point.
That was two separate events thing.
And then on top of that, you're getting free DLC for fucking Animal Crossing in November. So, hey, Animal Crossing
keeps on giving.
Yeah, that game won't stop. That game will never stop.
We'll see. I mean, yeah, I'm curious. Do
you think it's going to be substantial based on your guys' knowledge of the game?
It has to be because why would they have a direct?
Yeah.
Why would they have a direct?
Why would they announcement? It's got to be something kind of big.
Yeah, Animal Crossing's not one of those things.
I mean, it's a huge seller. I mean, it makes sense.
You have like a full direct. That makes me think like it's because everybody was hoping, for Bruce's Cafe was the main thing I wanted and shit. But like, you could have just had that in this trailer and that would have been it. You said, Bruce is coming in November, but then like you're gonna get a whole ass direct. So it's probably gonna be like around 20 minutes, maybe 15. Like if we're really lucky, 30. I don't know, but it makes me think
40.
It's not just going to be boosted. There's going to have more than that. Maybe new items, maybe new game mechanics because they've updated like game mechanics in Animal Crossing the first time. And like, it's been a fucking year. And I think the last substantial update they had is also like almost like borderline a year ago when they added like, I don't even remember. It was doing so fucking low.
They had like more Mario. They had more like Nintendo theme stuff.
Yeah, like they added like the diving and that kind of stuff. Like that was one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Mario stuff was dope. Like I still love having two warp pipes on either end of the island. And it's like just a quick, just go like that, and it's great. But I mean, just the fact that like what Retro saying, the fact that they announced the direct, I mean, legit, you could have just with any update that they've been doing is they release a 2-minute video, a minute and a half video, and they say. This is what it is. It's a holiday, blah, blah, blah. They could have done the same thing for Brewster. Hey, there's a cafe in your museum. There's Brewster, blah, 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 bye-bye.
Are we expecting possibly paid DLC situation or not?
I hope not.
No, they say free DLC.
I hope not.
I mean, I hope they didn't get people's expectations high by having a direct. I mean, but they also might have a lot of stuff to cover, so...
Yeah, that's my thing. I really do think. I hope if I see it's like 8 minutes, I'll be like, ooh, okay, expectations really down.
Yeah. 15.
If it's like 15, 20, then I'm like, okay, they got more. They got more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talk about 2022 stuff, maybe. And I think I honestly truly believe that they didn't expect maybe Animal Crossing to do this fucking good to the point they're like, oh shit, man. We maybe need to have more people on the staff so we can work on more updates.
I can't
imagine. You say that, but like, remember New Leaf? They were updating New Leaf all the way.
Well,
into,
New Leaf
like,
got
but
update
the
like
New Leaf,
a year ago.
people forget that New Leaf they had that Welcome Amiibo thing which was like 2018. Something like, wasn't it like?
I swear they did.
Yeah, but that was
2019.
2016.
You're talking about the home designer game?
No. I'm talking about Animal Crossing New Leaf.
They just updated it.
The Welcome Amiibo version.
And that was like 20. Well, let's just see.
They did an update like 2019 or
yeah, it was like surprisingly late, and we were like, oh.
Because I was like, oh, let me try it.
The thing with New Leaf is New Leaf did always have like new DLC items that randomly came out throughout the year, and for some you had to go to the store with the street pass to get New Leaf items and shit. But
Yeah.
the Amiibo card one is the only actual real
It was
update
2016.
it got, and that was near the end. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the actual update. Well, that's why, like, to me, like
They also added, like, the
every
camping stuff.
month in New Horizons, there's always new items for certain holidays. That's how
Yeah,
I kind of figure that.
exactly.
That's not really an update to me. That's just new items. Okay.
Gotcha.
But
I agree.
like
Rest in
like
peace,
this.
Street Pass.
Well, Welcome Amiibo is the actual update that they did 3 years down the road.
What's the one they
were
added
just like,
camping
by the
and
way,
stuff?
we have Amiibos.
Yeah, what
Let's
was the- what
integrate
When
was
they
them.
added the camping and stuff, what
Yeah,
was
when
that?
was the
2016?
That was
camping
Welcome
one?
Amiibo. That was Welcome Amiibo.
Oh, that's what
Was
that
it?
That was
was. Okay,
2016. That was
good.
2016.
Oh, because the campsite was when you.
Yeah,
get the
but
new-
that's what I'm saying is that
Okay.
it was really only one update that they did, and that's why it was
Yeah.
kind of like, admittedly, what it really is that holy shit, we got to sell these amiibos. Let's put in past games. Oh, Animal Crossing is a good one. We could do this. We could do this.
God, I
You know what I
swear
mean? Like,
that there was an update like 2 years ago, and people are like,
It
man,
just if
no,
time
I
flies.
don't.
it might have
think
been
so.
just a
Time flies.
bug fix or
Maybe-
something. But anyway, let's
maybe
go
a bug,
on.
yeah,
Move
something.
on.
You had the update to Mario Golf with the 2 new characters and 2 new courses, which is already out.
Ninja.
Didn't I mean
Yeah.
not to? I don't want to
Koopa
go
and
too far,
Ninja.
but did those 2 courses look like new courses? To me, they look like 2 courses that were shown
I'll be
already.
honest. They didn't quite look like new courses.
That's what I thought. I was like,
They looked like
new?
it looked like a brown course and a green course.
Yeah, or I thought it was like a snow course or something.
Oh yeah,
snow one.
There's like a
Once
snow
the snow
one and then
one-
like a
Or
Saint
snow
Desert
one.
one.
Snow one and a
Yeah.
brown
I'm like,
one.
those are new? Like, really? Like,
And
where's the
that's why
next
to me, I thought it'd be more like
What
New
is
Donk
it?
City type
New
thing.
Dock City? Like, where's the Hyrule Field update or something crazy? You know, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
The next one is the Disney game. Which
oh
I-
god,
I-
is that a new
I think-
game or a port? Because
I
that
think
game looked like
that looks like it's from the 3DS.
It's
but I don't
apparently-
know.
yeah, it looked
3DS
like a
game.
3DS game, like the
Is it the
animation.
actual 3DS game
Oh,
or
it's a 3DS game. It's a
3DS game that,
remaster, I guess, a port.
Yeah.
See, that wasn't
Yeah.
filler because it didn't last very long, but that was a what the fuck is this doing in a direct
then
game? That was
the
the
next
first
thing-
big like, why is this being shown right now?
But it only
Yeah,
has, like,
I think it was like
30
20
Why are
seconds.
they making
though.
that?
and
Yeah,
then,
I checked right. It was like 30 seconds long.
Who asked
so
for
I
that
mean,
game?
That was
You wanna
like,
know why?
All the games we want from 3DS to be on Switch.
You wanna
That's
know
what-
why?
and it looked bad. Like
I
it
think
looked
it's-
bad.
I've seen people
I don't think it
excited
looked
for
bad,
that
it
one.
just-
You saw
I
those
don't think-
animations. There's like
Somebody's
no,
always gonna like something. That's nothing
there's like
new.
no animations going on. This
I think
is-
what confused me is when I realized it was a Bandai game.
Yeah, I was
I
just
think
looking it up.
more
It's a
people will be
Bandai
excited
game.
for Kid Icarus.
They-
Uprising.
I mean, but
Well,
again,
that-
like
that's
you
what
know,
I'm talking
that's not
about.
Nintendo. It's Bandai Namco. What are
yeah,
you gonna
but,
do?
yeah. It's just like what was
Uh,
that there?
The next one is the original KOTOR.
Which is funny. I thought that was pretty funny. Seeing KOTOR.
That's so hilarious.
I was like,
It
is
is-
that the
it
one with the
is pretty
remake?
funny.
That's
I'm
the
like,
remake?
really?
I'm like, this
It's
is
I
gonna
mean, I'm not
be
surprised. It makes
Monster
sense.
Hunter all over again. We're gonna get like the old one, and then they're gonna release a new one. You ain't seeing that shit on the Switch.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well,
So
but
the trade-off
admittedly, like
is-
I think there's
Final
that's
Fantasy
it's
15
still
mobile,
cool
yo.
to bring that to the Switch regardless. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's a bad thing in the slightest because hey man, it's gonna be easier in 20
Yeah,
years
it's
for
not a
someone to
neg-
go
it's-
back to the Switch
It
version.
is what it is,
Yeah.
you know. So
it's what-
No, it's not wrong with that. I
Sixth-gen
thought,
game.
I thought that was cool. I just
Yeah.
thought the timing was pretty hilarious.
No, the
That's all.
timing is
I-
funny.
the-
Yeah,
I thought the
timing
timing was
is funny.
intentional. The timing had to be intentional.
and that game was like, not to get all Digital Foundry, but that game had some issues technically on the Xbox. So I had it. I played a couple hours of it.
Oh, KOTOR?
Yeah, it was pretty much. I don't know if it just was not not optimized or was pushing the system too hard. So I don't think
Ran
it's.
pretty good on the Xbox Series X. though.
Yeah.
True.
It looked good. It looked just as good as that. The Switch kind of cleaned up version. So
I think that's what they did with the Commando Republic or whatever. They had it, they launched out.
What happened to
PS4
that
and Switch.
2021 Star Wars game that was teased in that direct earlier this year?
Star
or-
Wars,
Talking about
Star
wasn't
Wars,
Wasn't that an older game too? That was a
No, it was
Star Wars-
it's the one Sonic Dream is.
it was
rumored
at
to be working on.
E3. Remember they showed.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's Star Wars. What's it called? It's the free to play one.
That's
it's a
all that. That's
free-to-play
what that
third
turned out to
person.
be.
No, it hasn't released. It's a free to
No,
play.
I'm saying they teased the game in the direct, like they.
Yeah, I know
teased
it's a third person. Yeah, it's gonna be a
and
third
that,
person.
that was
shooter.
a free to play game.
Oh, I do know what
It's
you're
gonna
talking
be a
about.
free to play game. It hasn't
It
released.
is a
It's
free to
gonna
play
be.
game. It's a free
It's
to
gonna
play.
be.
Trash.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
get-
they said in the trailer. I think when they first.
I don't
talked
know,
about
man.
it.
I
That's
don't
gonna
remember that.
do well. It's gonna, a free to play third person Star Wars.
They'll do
game.
well
Hunters.
just because they do well just because of the branding, just because. It's
Hunters.
But it might be good, man. It might be good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Could
gonna
be.
knock.
I'm not doubting
that.
it could be. I'm just saying.
Hunters. Yeah, they go Hunters. Star Wars Hunters.
Yeah. After that, you get the Dying Light games.
That's Cloud, which hey, you know.
Well, the second game's Cloud. The first game
The
is
first game is actually on the Switch.
They you know how notice how they learned from their what was it? Which one that confused people? They like the Cloud version, like big letters, hey, this is the Cloud version. And I didn't think it looked very good. Even the Cloud version, I thought looked.
Even with the Cloud, yeah.
I thought that looked like a native Switch game. To be honest, I thought it looked pretty trash.
Is that
Guardians 2, Guardians of the Galaxy? I'm like, ew.
Yeah, that don't look much above
watercolor
a native Switch port.
Well, that kind of like phased through me. I was still thinking Animal Crossing.
Me too, man. I was constantly. I mean, you saw. I just constantly was like, holy shit.
Yeah, because Dying Light 2 comes out in February, and then the first one comes out on October 19th.
Yeah, that was that wasn't clear either. I'm guessing that's gonna be digital only because they were very. They didn't really give much information on the.
Yeah.
What's digital only?
The Dying Light, the original, I guess, is running on the Switch.
Yeah,
digital only.
But that's my guess because they really didn't give much information other than you can play it on the go.
It doesn't say it's digital only to me. So
that's just a theory I have. I know there's nothing.
Game theory.
The next game is Triangle Strategy,
which we talked a lot about.
What? Triangle Strategy.
Oh, I've heard that one, Skip.
And that one did. I felt like that was during E3. I felt like that was a filler game. That went on a long time at the E3 Direct, but this was more concise.
You don't care for the game.
I know, but it was an extended like Smash Brothers, like breaking down each character's moveset type of thing at E3. I thought
that Smashing was awful.
They went way too much detail for that.
That one's the.
Then we got Dread.
That was a good trailer too.
Yep.
Dread trailer.
Yeah. All the people I like all the people I watched covering their eyes and shit.
Let me ask Retro Death because I brought this up without your Retro.
Retro looked away. He was like,
when they showed Samus Returns and everyone got excited because they revealed that they showed that counter move like in the trailer and highlighted it at the treehouse. Was that a spoiler for you back then?
I'm sorry, I kind of muted you for a few seconds because I thought you were going to talk about spoilers.
The counter move in the Samus Returns was highlighted immediately in the trailer and focused on in the treehouse. Is that a spoiler?
The first original trailer, I always watch it and shit. I don't consider that stuff spoilers if you go too deep into it. So no, I would say no to that. I know what you're saying. It's because I said that on Twitter after that trailer, Nintendo started being like, this weapon is in the game, this ability is in the game, like this story element is going to be that. Then you're going way too far from it.
And I get why you would say that just for a simple fact is, in order to find out if it's a spoiler or not, you have to read it. And if you read it, you're like, shit, I didn't want to know that, but I read it already.
But I think for them, they have.
Like everything that I consider just too much information after I already decided I want the game for me is a spoiler. I saw the original trailer, I wanted the game. I don't need to see anything else, and I don't want to see anything else.
But you see people talking about, you're going to get this missile upgrade. Like, when is a new game showing new abilities that your character in an established franchise a spoiler? I don't understand, like I just don't get that part of it. I get the story stuff, and you don't want to see the locations, you don't want to see this boss, but people freaking out over, you get this, you can shoot multiple targets. Like you've done that before.
Not quite doing that though. I don't.
For example,
I think it's more the memes we were saying.
Getting mad about bosses that's in like 99%.
They almost have almost every game has the same bosses, but.
Let's take The Legend of Zelda for an example. Let's take, I don't know, Ocarina of Time. Let's say you're gonna see a trailer for Ocarina of Time. You're gonna get like there's like 8 dungeons in the game. And let's say in a trailer they go like, you can get like the bow and arrow, and you're gonna get like dense fire, frost wind, and you're gonna get like the medallion and the hands. I don't need to see everything I'm gonna get from all these dungeons. Even the missiles. I don't need to see every upgrade, every weapon I'm gonna get, because again, I'm gonna be feeling like I'm gonna play towards something.
But you're surprised about getting the bow and arrow.
The first trailer for Ocarina of Time, like the first major trailer for Ocarina of Time. Bitch, they showed you King Dodongo and how to beat the bitch. that was in the trailer, and I didn't think twice about that.
But if they show you the hook shot, you've never seen a hook shot in 3D. Like to me, that's.
About the hook shot too.
I don't need to I wanted to see that. I'm just talking about an established game with getting weapons that you usually get. That's where I kind of challenge people. I get the whole story. Like, you don't want to see areas. That's cool. You want that part to be. But in a Metroid game, you're going to get the Morph Ball. You're going to get the Freeze Beam. Like that stuff, to me, them. And then a new ability. They did it with Samus Returns, and I don't remember a single person. Why are they showing me this counter move? I want to experience that in the game. I want to.
Well, that game's also a remake.
I guess, but at the same time, and there wasn't none of this for like that stuff. Grabbing
also
a
on the
ledge.
3DS. I think
what's the robot called? The robots in the game?
Emmy?
The Emmys and shit. Like, that's pretty big, right? Like, wouldn't that be, like, if you knew nothing about the Emmy and you started playing the game and all that bitch started chasing you?
I'm not saying it wouldn't be awesome to go in completely blind to a game and experience stuff like, but
it's damn near impossible.
But at the same time, they're showing.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that it's impossible.
I get it.
For them to leave shit like that out. Like, how do you?
They have to show some stuff.
How are you going to explain the game?
Yeah, you have to explain.
It's just personal how I feel. Like I said, the second I decide I want a game, I personally just don't want to see more, and I personally consider every single piece of information after that a spoiler, but because that's just how I see it. I'm not saying that means it is a spoiler or not, but that's how I see it.
Super Mario 3D World second trailer. There's all kind of new shit that was in there. Like,
I mean, hey man, I always said that
that second trailer.
I didn't like knowing that Rosalina was in it.
Second trailer helped sell the damn game for people.
Yeah.
Well, that's different when you're showing like a surprise to like beating the game, like a surprise new character. I can see that.
Rosalina,
but at the same time,
one of the coolest things was in Super Mario Galaxy when you get the 120 stars and Super Luigi time, and it was like holy shit, and I was just so hype and
spoiler alert.
But but also to be fair, I think I saw that in a fucking what's it called, the strategy guide,
Nintendo magazine or something.
No, I saw it like a strategy guide. I remember, and I was like, oh my god, Luigi's there! Holy shit, I gotta get 120 stars. But imagine if they show that the trailer is not the same. But that's why with the Rosalina thing is the one thing I always said. I was like, why they gotta show Rosalina, man? It could have been.
But by the time you get her, you almost played every level in the game. It's almost like like if you're gonna have her be a surprise character,
No, but if you want 100% the game, you gotta play as her the whole thing. Also.
Yeah. But by the time you get her, you've played 90% of the levels.
90% of the level, yeah. No, but still, it's cool seeing the Comet Observatory. When you first imagine drop in, I would have been like, holy fuck, it's the Comet Observatory. And then at the end you see Rosalina, like, is that Rosalina? I get to play her? What the fuck? What's going on? Like, that would have been really cool. But unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think that's different than getting a weapon upgrade in a Metroid game.
It is different.
But at the same time,
just
finishing off, like they showed the new counter move was the big selling point of Samus Returns, having like, a new abilities that they showed. Like, hey, that makes you should be excited. This is what makes this a new game. Like this isn't just the same game.
I don't have that.
Just
they
like
with
Breath of the Wild, like when like this, you can climb anywhere. Like they have, you can't not show that in the trailer, and that's as big of a game changer.
This is taken a little bit out of proportion. I'm not saying you can't.
I'm not talking about you directly. I'm talking about a bunch of people. There's a lot of people.
I feel like we're a little too harsh.
There's a lot of people like calling out, like, "Oh, they're showing me you get this weapon." Like, it's a Metroid game. You get weapons. Like, that's the whole point of the game. You get new weapons, and this is one of the new main ones, the new moves for the game. Like,
oh man, she got a new outfit. I didn't want to see what that looked like yet.
Let me say it like this easy, like basically any normal trailer and stuff like is okay. I consider after the first trailer, like I said, something like Metroid that we haven't seen in so long, I just don't want to see the other trailers. My main problem isn't even specifically the trailers. My main problem is everything that Nintendo was doing outside of it. All the random Twitter posts that had all the lore and story shit. And like all the elements, and okay, you see the original trailer from Dread. Holy shit, you gotta run away from this robot. These robots are gonna be scary. Next Nintendo post on Twitter. That's this massive beam that fights off the robots. Bitch, I don't need to see that shit. Why are you showing me that? Yeah. Where's the Dread when you're taking this Dread? And then these characters are coming back. these screenshots of like fucking this character. Bitch, fuck off. Like, no, it's too much.
I completely understand that perspective. I completely respect it too. But Nintendo trying to sell this
They have
game.
to sell the game.
They are trying to sell. At the end of the day, if that shit helps Metroid sell well, and I don't have to wait 10 years for the next goddamn Metroid game, show every goddamn. Show
years.
the final boss. I don't give a shit. Because I'm tired of waiting 10, 15 years for my goddamn Metroid games, man.
And I still think there's a lot they haven't shown. I think there's a lot they haven't shown.
No,
I totally agree. But I agree with you. Show everything, I don't care. But I consider it spoilers, so I avoid it. I mute Nintendo. I mute Rule of Two. I don't care. I avoid that shit. Okay, another for example. I don't think I remember seeing a trailer of the original Metroid Prime before I bought it. But like the whole thing of Metroid Prime, you're going to this planet, you're exploring this thing, like, oh, space pirates are back. Oh, it's kind of crazy. That first time you fucking see a Metroid in a game, you're like, holy shit, they're here. It's in this game in 3D and all this shit. Like, bitch, like if you show me that in a trailer, none of that would be even remotely impactful.
Well, especially when the Metroids do, they break out of the cage for the first.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a Metroid in this game. Who would have thought? That's what I would have said.
I don't know because I never really.
We gotta move on. We're running out of time. Big time.
I think we have to make a direct part 2.
How many more games?
We're gonna have to skip a lot of the
next thing
stuff.
is the Nintendo Online.
That's the thing.
We gotta talk about that.
Yeah,
that's gonna be 15 minutes.
This is gonna be. We have to wrap because I honestly, I kid you not. I laughed out. I was waiting for teaser reaction because I was ahead of you. Because I stopped. I had yours on, but I was watching a feed that was about, I want to say 15, 20 seconds ahead as far as me watching your stream. So I saw it all earlier, like 20 seconds earlier. I was waiting for your reaction. I was so like, what's the word I use? I was just like, the absurdity of them charging extra for this online. They've been talking about making it more appealing. And I was shocked. I was literally shocked to see all the positive excitement on Twitter following it. Because I was like, oh, people are going to be all over Nintendo for this Switch Online, trying to make it more appealing by charging more. And I felt like not everybody, some people agree with me, but I felt like I was way off from the majority.
I was trying to be positive during my stream, okay? That's
because I was like, oh, that's not, like, my initial response was like, people are gonna roast them for this, and I was shocked.
Have you not been following Nintendo for the last 5-10 years? That's Nintendo fans. That ain't gonna happen, bro. Some people are gonna be annoyed with it. My thing is, like, if you're actually gonna make this side thing, you better be adding some more shit to it. Like, it can't just be N64 and
the games gotta come frequently.
Adding more to it. Like, I get it because it's like, yo, think about it. Like, so there's like 100 games on SNES and NES right now. So if they just continue to, because again, the service is only $20 a month or $20 a year, right? And then you got family plans. Is we paying like $8-9 a piece,
$7.
So, So I understand them wanting to, because I even said it. I was like, all right, my thing is just like, all right, separate my shit. I just want to play online. That should be a separate thing, right? Mm-hmm. I should be able to do that for free. Yeah. Then charge me on top if I want to add this NES online and expansion pack and stuff. That's my thing. Because if I don't want that stuff, which I don't want anything to do with NES and SNES, right? But maybe I want to do something because it's going to be able to play online. It's like going back to N64 days where you can play with your buddies and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's cool to me. Like, I want to play F-Zero online with people and shit. Yeah, that's cool. F-Zero X and shit. That's great. So I can understand where if you're expanding this thing to where it's gonna get really big, yeah, you're gonna have to charge a little bit more for it. I'm cool with that. But you better be charging accordingly. That's my thing. Like,
it's gotta be like $5-10.
You can't be charging no $40 for this.
No.
I heard
$5. Because and that kind of goes into my feelings about it. I'm cool. I'd rather they do it this way, where it's separate to where if I don't want to pay for it, I don't have to jack up my whole my online price. So the fact that it's separate is great.
That is true that they didn't I didn't think about that. To be
Now
honest.
I do agree with T in the sense that like I think the most you can get away with, the most, and it's kind of going more on the yearly side, is $10 more. That's the most you could get away with. Anything more, you're being fucking reckless. Especially
Right, yeah.
as someone mentioned in the chat, as far as the Sega Genesis games are concerned, you can get the majority of those in a collection that's on Switch. That, by the way, was on sale for $5 fucking
$5, bro.
See,
only like 3 titles. I think it's Echo the Dolphin and like 2 other titles.
Yeah, it's only 3 titles you can't get.
Can't get. Then N64 shit, fine, because you can. The fact that you can play all 4-player online.
Right.
I'll give Sin and Punishment an extra bonus because we never got that in the West. That was
I think they had that in the
Got it
Wii
on
virtual
Wii.
console. Yeah, on the Wii virtual console.
Yeah, it was on
Okay.
Wii Virtual Console.
Okay. And then you got games that we
Banjo
didn't think.
Kazooie.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got games we
That's
didn't
cool.
think we were going to see. That's fine. And then that's all things that made me hopeful, like Snap. I don't think they're gonna put Stadium on there, but if they do, that's an automatic. I'm getting it regardless because
I mean,
certain
bro,
titles.
Stadium, bro.
There's certain titles. That's it. That's all.
well,
I care
here's
about.
the thing. Somebody brought this up on I don't know if it was Nintendo Life or if you're charging extra for this service, you can't trickle these games out. Couple
can't,
games,
Another
completely random game nobody asked for 3 months later. You know, it's launching with only 9 games, and they showed like another like 7-8 games that were planned.
Yeah.
If that's those 7-8 games take a year to come out, that's completely
Yeah.
unacceptable.
Yeah, that's mostly
unacceptable.
concern.
And you're talking about, if it's $10, that's half of what you're already paying. Like, yeah, it's optional, but if you're gonna release 9 N64 games and then like the Genesis games, which are on a cheap collection, like to me, that would have been a nice little addition to the Switch Online. Yeah, I'm not saying they need to go full on with the service, but you already have a service. People are like, this service sucks. You know, what am I spending my money on just to play online? You know, yeah.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, to me, to charge $5 a year, then why you charge it? If you can do it for only $5 a year, then why even charge that? Why not just, if it's $5, that almost makes it worse. Just fucking include it. You're making billions off the Switch.
That's what I wanted to say though. My issue with it, first of all, my personal issue is you can fucking add some virtual console shit and charge for it. I think it's a little bit absurd, especially at this point when Nintendo is with how many times we bought these games. But this is my main problem. It's everybody has been complaining for fucking 5. I was looking at my watch for 5 fucking years now. We want a messaging system. We want simple themes. Simple. I don't care what anybody says. It's simple shit to add. And after 5 years, not only do you finally get an update to Switch Online, but it's not that. And you have to pay more. Like, I think it's kind of brutal. It's like, at the very least, if you have to pay more for something like that, like, I thought it was going to be like an upgrade to the online. That's what I said. It's an upgrade online, an extra membership thing, you know. Maybe you get, like, your messaging system that you want, but you don't. You get Ocarina of Time. And, like, okay, like, if you just give me fucking Ocarina of Time, I feel it's kind of brutal asking more money for, like, Juice said, for a service that most people already feel you're kind of overpaying because we have cloud saves that don't work, as Clocked, you know. And that's it. And you can play NES games. You can play Super Mario Bros. 1 again. You know? It doesn't have a lot of shit. So to add more shit, which is not even a lot, it's like 10 games in each system, whatever, you know. It's fucking brutal when, you know, you still have to call me on my fucking phone if you want to play Mario Kart. You know, it's like, fuck off. I'm sorry. I think it's bullshit.
And it did specify, just to point this out, it did specifically say the online was friends only, which is fine. That's who you're going to want to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people don't play with
And it's split screen. It still runs in split screen mode.
I mean, I get that because it's
I
literally the N64 game. They're never
they're not going to go back and change the architecture of the game. That's fine.
And
all that.
I was just stating the facts for people that, in case in the chat and stuff, they didn't know.
My big thing is that I can see both sides where it's like, yeah, no, they shouldn't charge, you know, more for N64 games and Genesis games and stuff. But man, I continuously also think like we live in a great world, man, where this shit is, maybe gonna go up to $30 for a whole year and for one single person, and someone's gonna have access to potentially one of these years. We're not like a huge library of N64 games, some of the greatest games of all time, Super Nintendo, NES, Sega Genesis, hundreds of games. I am not paying $5 more for that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think the N64 will ever hit 100 games by itself.
No, I'm saying hundreds of games, like spanning across multiple platforms, like
yeah, but they're gonna start charging more for each new platform they add. That's why I don't like it.
They put Win back on the bitch. Win back, all bets is off.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying is that what I'm saying, like like when you think about it, like I like to, get my game physically or whatever and have it for the rest of my life. But if someone, like a Game Pass, you see Game Pass is 120 a year or whatever, and you got a bunch of games that are always cycling, so it's not like it's guaranteed to stay there. But for now, at least, these games have stayed there, and it seems like they're staying there because it's Nintendo owned games, And it's like, man, 1 year, we're not there yet. But it seems like that, just gaming is so fucking cheap nowadays. It's crazy. It's impressive that, you can get some of the greatest games of all time for, we split it $7 a year. And it's like, damn. And then that's how I see both, where it's like, it's like, nah, they shouldn't charge more and all that type of stuff. Like, I think they should have just put it in. But at the same time, like, they did $5-10 extra, and for the people get to now play Paper fucking Mario for the first time. They get to play Win Back. I've never even played that game. Never heard of it. But, you get to play F-Zero X with cross for the first time online with people. You get to actually play Banjo-Kazooie on a Nintendo platform in how many years? You get it's technically so dirt cheap when you think about it. And it's like, damn, it's impressive. But I get the principle of it. It's like, no, come on, man. What the fuck?
What?
You know that you store these things for it, they're in your damn, Nintendo. You could say, like, it's tough. It's tough for me because it's like I can see both ways, and it's like, we're like, it's such a cheap service. Other platforms or other services, they have multiple of them. They have, PS Plus, PS Now. They got Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Gold. One's $120 a year. One's $60 a year. One this. You know what I'm saying? And so I get like.
Well, I mean, those services offer current games, though, so it's not really fair.
Current games, depending on what you think. Xbox Live Gold gives mostly a lot of original Xbox games and stuff like that. And remember, if you don't redeem them by the end of the month, they're gone. And so it's like they don't really do a lot of Xbox One games anymore.
I'll throw in this. I kind of lean towards Robert in terms of that anyway. The one thing that makes me think they got to try harder with this anyway is the fact that you made it separate, meaning people don't have to buy it, people don't have to get it, so it gives them more of an incentive to put better shit. That's the first thing.
That is true.
You don't have to buy it, but if you want to play N64 games, you have to have the Switch Online Plus. You can't just play the N64 games.
Well, to me, it's all going to hinge on the price, and the pricing is still the biggest thing. Now, like I said, if let's say the family plan went from like 35 right now, it went from 35 to 40 a year for a family plan.
Oh, if the family plan only goes up $5, that's completely different.
The yearly plan went up to, let's say, 20 to 30. I'm not sweating it as much. If it went up from like 20 to 40 or some shit, that's a different story.
That'd be like,
yeah, but like if you go to 20 to 30, or the monthly charge goes up by like $1 or something, to me, it's not anything to like get angry about. And I would be as mad as, let's say, Retro would be about it if it were locking things like messaging or
I feel like that's more fucked up.
That would be enough for outrage.
The reason why is because it's called Nintendo Switch Online. It's literally like that would be messed up.
Well, here's another.
If you lock base features behind the expansion pack, then I could be offended. I'm not gonna be offended, man. I'm not gonna be offended that you put games with added functionality behind a paywall that I don't have to buy. That doesn't really bother me.
Well, that's the only, in my mind, that's the only saving grace is that it's not just we're increasing the price, but you get these. It's like you don't have to.
Well, that's the good thing.
It's not like they're changing the base. Like I don't see the point of getting the reason why I don't think people got mad at it because it doesn't really because it's optional. You don't have to do
it.
It
Doesn't affect you if
Yeah, you
don't
don't.
want it to
If you
affect you.
only care about the online,
I'm not talking about
you
not
don't-
getting mad. I'm talking about legit excitement. That's where I was like, I
because
truly
there's some
like
N64
was
games
shocked that this wasn't like get the pitchforks out like when
Well,
Sony
I
does something
think-
stupid and
Why?
people complain and then they get it overturned. Because here's the thing, I know all of us here, we use the Switch online. I think I can count on one hand even with Clocked It, all the times we played any of those games, Super NES, by
Well,
ourselves.
I don't even have the app downloaded. I will say that. I'll say that right now.
Online.
But,
So every time I hear I get to play this
Yeah.
N64 game online, to me it's almost completely fake value because yeah, you might do that once, twice. So Nintendo's charging more because the perceived value, and people are going to use it a few times and then they paid that money.
Yeah.
So they
I
got
feel like that. I
They
feel like
say
that's
that, but I
Yeah, I
understand
feel like
the
that's
excitement
unfair.
because this is the motherfucking fun machine.
That's the
Everybody
multiplayer
plays
machine.
this multiplayer multiple
Yeah,
times all the time.
I'll believe it when I
it.
see it. I'll
just
believe
saying,
it when
I
I
get
see
the
it.
excitement for this.
I don't
I
feel
get the
like that.
excitement for that. So it's like
Yeah.
this is truly revisiting a console because you can't do what you used to do when you were freaking 15 years old and play this with buddies.
Depending on what games they add, it's really like if they had the older Mario parties.
There's
Or
no way.
fucking-
I wonder if they'll do
Oh
that.
God,
If they had if they had Smash
who
64,
gonna play the new ones if they do that shit?
That's fine. I don't know if they're gonna do that.
So
I don't know,
I
I don't
challenged
know.
Clocked It, I think, I said I bet I can count on not even a full hand how many times you'll play those N64 games online because none of us have ever utilized the Super NES. I know it's different systems and different, but for most people, or for a lot of people, the Super NES was the pinnacle of couch co-op, playing Street Fighter, playing on these co-op games. It didn't have the 4 controller option like the N64 pioneered, but like I said, I think it's perceived value, and I think people are going to pay their money, and then just like a lot of people with Netflix and Amazon Primes, and you're not going to utilize it. It's just getting money for.
I disagree because it's the N64.
Yeah, the N60 in the games they picked are for the most part good games. It's not like they picked. There's only like one what the fuck game.
But how many of those 9 are multiplayer games that they showed? Star Fox.
Star Fox, F-Zero will probably be multiplayer.
Well, that's the second wave. That's not the
That's the
first.
second wave.
Right,
Mario
the
Kart
original.
64.
I don't
right
feel
there,
like they
Mario
were
64.
really
still
pushing the
excited.
multiplayer.
Then be Mario Kart, which is already damn. All right, that's.
I mean, damn. Before playing Mario Kart, like that shit was crazy back in the day.
Can I imagine if
That's what makes me
Here's
think
the
that
thing: you might be right, Juice. I'm not saying you're wrong about the lasting of that excitement, but I understand the initial feeling of it because it's like you're revisiting your fucking childhood in a way, right?
You know what
Like,
would be really mess?
I'm not going to take that away from anybody. I understand why they would
I
feel that way.
will agree with Ayers in the sense that he says that people probably be more angry if it was Game Boy instead of N64.
Can you
Game
imagine?
Boy doesn't. Game Boy
Oh
doesn't-
boy, if it was Game Boy, fuck off.
Game Boy doesn't warrant that. In my opinion.
No.
I don't know the details behind it, and I don't know the copyright behind it, but they put Banjo on there. But can you only imagine if you would have put fucking GoldenEye on there?
I think
With
that's
the
Perfect
online
Dark.
shit?
Perfect Dark
that's
needs
a
to be on
license.
there.
That's a licensing thing. I
Right?
know.
I mean,
I heard they couldn't even get that on
I feel
Xbox.
like Kirby Dart is definitely going to be on there.
Because
And
no one played. I mean,
all the rare games, they're gonna be on there.
Perfect
all the
Dark
rare
came
games
out
will be
too
on
late, and it didn't. And people had already kind of moved on from the N64.
moved on,
It didn't get. It didn't pick up where GoldenEye left off. It had been too long, and to give that game a second chance with multiplayer. I've never played it with more than one other person. I played it with one other person one time. Although other than that, I played against bots. So,
Right.
But again, like that's cool. But to me, like I said, if it's only $5 a year, then why even charge at that point? Because like they ain't making
It's not
shit
going to be
off that.
$5.
It's gonna be at least.
If
They're
it's
not gonna-
$10
dude,
a
they're gonna-
year,
5 times.
Then-
5
then
times
Then,
however
like I
many,
said,
they're
they
gonna
need
get a
to-
lot of-
they need to make this service a regular releases and not just be one of these 3 months down the road, they're like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
F-Zero X
100%.
is here now. Like, no.
They cannot do what they've been doing with the SNES and NES. They
Yeah, if you're
cannot do
paying
that shit.
extra, they need to have that
Well, the
shit.
fact,
Yeah,
the
I
fact
agree.
that
Yeah,
it's,
no, 100%.
like I said, the fact that it's optional means they have way more of an incentive to be like, listen, if we don't keep this shit up, they just won't pay. They won't pay for
And
it.
bitch, GameCube better be down the road.
That's what
I
so
think
that's
it's.
the thing.
I think
yeah.
it's. I think it's cool that we, it's cool that we got N64 games. I never had the original Paper Mario, so I like that I might have the chance to play that and all that stuff. I don't have an N64 anymore, and I need to rebuy one at some point, so I can't play these games. My problem is that, and it's worse that you can't really get mad at, like you guys said, because it's optional. I don't mind it's optional. I don't mind that all this virtual console shit is here. I feel my main problem is mostly that I feel it should be in the original price. But even then, the biggest issue I feel is that you worked so hard on all this shit to add like N64 games.
What it is?
Exactly. When I feel like the original Switch Online had such issues and so many things people wanted that take like a quarter of the work you put into adding this shit on there.
Yes, I feel weird that people are like, no one's like, yeah, that would be awesome if it was included. That would make the service really. I pretty much only seen and hear, well, it's optional and it's N64. Like, but why? Like, why wouldn't you be like? I don't see why there's not more people saying, man, that would have been great if they didn't. If that would have just been included, then the Switch Online would be really
great.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain about Switch Online anymore if that shit was included. I would. I think still, that would think we should have messaging, but okay, value, but done. You got value proposition fulfilled. So I totally understand that side of it too.
Well, the thing I thought was interesting when they said more details in October, I'm like, well, the only other detail we really need is the price.
Yeah, that's
is there anything else that
I want
that
details
we
on the
don't know?
rollout?
How often
that's my
that games? Too. I truly believe.
I don't know if they're gonna go back to actually telling you in advance, like per month, whereas like SNES and NES was just like whenever they felt like it. Now that's how it is.
Let me give you my little theory. Nintendo was waiting to see the reception before they set on a price. That's my theory. That this is gonna be out. But Leveled Head, what's up, dude? He hasn't been in this chat in a long time. He made a good point. If they made the online free, most of us wouldn't be paying for the NES and SNES games, and we'd just be So they know that they have to tie that. I think they feel like they have to tie that in.
I don't think most people.
I think you guys would be surprised, yo. I think if they had it again, like their own Game Pass, like they was NES.
Yeah, if they had
NES,
like a full featured VC virtual console where it's a subscription like Game Pass, yeah, that would be different. But you're getting a handful of games at launch, and who knows the rollout? Like T said, we need to know.
But I think you would still do really well. I think they just for some reason thought that was just a better sell, but add it online.
I think they honestly, when the way they presented the online with the 5 features, to me that told me everything. They know that with any one of those things by itself is not worth a doubt. Like, so you had the 5 amazing features were play online, the parental app, cloud saves, the features. What was it? Only 4? I thought there was 5 things.
Oh no, I'm gonna pull it back up.
And it was
parental apps part of Switch Online because you could just download
playing online. Oh, the NES. The NES was the 5th thing.
Yeah, no, it was playing online, NES, cloud saves, the mobile app, and then special deals.
Oh, the mobile app. I said parental app.
Oh, yeah, special deals. Because they do that. They've been doing it more, consistent now. They had those game demos. They've been doing those game demos, but...
the trials. I know what you're talking about.
The game trials.
Like those 5 things, that was really only 2 things in my mind. The app is not a positive. The free trials, that should be... I mean, yeah, it's $20. It's not $60. But...
$20. I never looked at the base online and got offended.
And the game trials. To be fair, if you crunch them, man, you could beat the games.
Yeah, like realistically, the game trials was the full game. You got the full game. For most of
like a week.
My issue is more so the game they chose.
Yeah, it was an old ass game, wasn't
it?
No, I mean they had they've been doing it more consistently. They had
Mario Tennis like 2 years after it came out, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't that late.
2 years? I don't think it was 2 years.
Yeah, Mario Tennis came out 2018.
Yeah, but
And
it
they did
wouldn't.
what,
But no,
2020?
the trial
Oh, it
wasn't
was
that late.
2019. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
they did it relatively close. My thing, the trial things would be fine if they just did more than
Well,
one game.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
paying less, but you look at the competition, um, you know, and yeah, Xbox Gold isn't what it used to be because because of Game Pass,
They shifted it more towards
yeah,
the
they
Game
don't
Pass.
give
well,
away the games,
here's my
but
thing. But here's my thing with PlayStation and Xbox. Other than I know we're missing the messaging system and the what's the other thing we're missing? Oh, party chat and stuff like that. When I look at like PlayStation PS Plus and Xbox Online, the only thing you're getting is you get your PS Plus games, special deals and offers, which is the same thing you get on Switch. And cloud saves are locked behind a paywall on PlayStation. Or Xbox, they're free. So realistically, I can't think of
The big thing is the games on there for
yeah,
PS
but
Plus.
the
That's
the
really
special
PS
big.
Plus,
offers are way more vast. Like you get like 70% off of like this Jedi Fallen Order or something. I think was like $10. The DLC for Horizon was like $3, and when it was like 10 or 15 still. Like it's not just once in a blue moon, and you get the free game. Like I've downloaded Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was $40 at the time. Days Gone, which I had already bought the disc, but I still downloaded. It was $20 at the time. I have Plague Tale: Innocence, which I may not play, but I download. That's a $40 game. Oddworld was $40 day one, day and date. Download that. It's like I feel like
this thing is a price
you pay more, but unless every 3 games a month, unless out of the 36 games there isn't a single game that you have any interest in, you're gonna at least get half your money back, if not more, on a game.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's what I was saying earlier that gaming is so cheap nowadays.
Yeah, so if the Switch Online was like, if the free offers was like, hey, well, what's a newer game like something Nintendo would be able to like, hey, you get this if for Nintendo Switch Online members, something a little meatier like
I'm just saying
Hot
for
Wheels,
20
Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Yeah, like Hot Wheels Unleashed or something, Hey, if you got Nintendo Switch Online, here you go.
Yeah, I'm just saying for $20, I try to equate it in terms of a value proposition. The main thing, other than obviously the messaging stuff and the party chat, which realistically, hell, for Xbox, I don't even think that's included in the service anymore. That's just a part of the system. The only thing it's really lacking in is probably the free games. But like,
I mean, you can't even invite friends. I mean, it's just the online itself should be free.
The issue with that.
No, it should be. Yeah,
there's games that utilize invites, but somebody brought up a good point. They didn't mention the price. This is just Cool C's probably his theory. They didn't want any negative press, especially with the OLED coming out. And I truly believe they were judging the reaction to it being an additional cost, and before they settle on that price. That's kind of what that's what I thought.
So how many do you guys think that maybe there's gonna be more to it? Like they are adding some other stuff except like besides the virtual console shit?
No,
Or do you think that's really all it's
that's
gonna
all
be?
it is. And I don't think the Genesis adds anything to that package. I think it's the N64. They didn't even need the Genesis. The
Genesis to me is if it depends on if they add more Genesis. If they add more,
they said they were going to add more, but I don't expect a lot more of the Genesis.
I won't be mad. To me, if they add more Genesis, then the value.
And I see, of course, and even if it was something really cool, there's always going to be somebody that says, "Well, why wasn't the Dreamcast?" But I did see some good points. It's the N64. Why not pair that with the Saturn? Like that would have been a big splash.
Yeah, that would.
There's a lot of people who didn't play a Saturn, and that might be more interesting than another Genesis collection. Like.
Oh, the problem is you have to work out the deal with Sega. So
I know, but they definitely could have sweetened the deal, and I'm betting on $15 a year for the single on top of the 20. So that's my
35. You say?
So 35 total, which puts it.
It would go to 50.
35 total.
Somebody's dying.
Oh, and the family plan would probably be 50.
You think 50?
So you divide that by 5. That's only $10 divided by 5. If there's only 4 of us, then it's like 13.
Yeah, my issue is more so. if they, my
Not
thing is this:
13, be
if
16.
if you playing, I think eventually Nintendo will eventually start adding like GameCube at some point in time.
That'll be next.
But it'll be
system.
another additional charge, I think. That'll
Well,
be an
yeah.
additional charge.
It will be.
I just can't.
But
knowing
one
that-
day it'll
but
be
know-
super worth
Which
it.
is
know-
7th year.
My
One
my
day it'll be
thought
super
my
worth it.
thought process is, if that is the case, the most to me that Nintendo Switch Online should top out at is 6. It should at least.
I think
be,
maybe they're trying to work their way up there, but
Yeah.
just by adding new platforms.
Well, that's what makes me think if you had N64 and go,
And then the
all right,
Wii
that's
after.
another $15. I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't know about that because I know
Do you think
GameCube.
they'll carry this on to the next console?
I think
It makes
so.
no sense. It makes no sense to add this late into Switch's
You
life.
think
cycle.
now for the first time ever Nintendo's gonna bring this shit over?
Well, they
to the
did
next
show a
console?
little,
It doesn't make sense.
At
It
an
ain't
investors
happening.
meeting, they showed that they were going to carry
Yeah,
over
the
the account
investors meeting, they
system.
got it.
Yeah, there's no reason to add N64 now and then be like, nah, we're gonna scrap the whole.
But here's the
system.
thing, like the potential there, like Robert said, to have all these great games. I mean, it already has the two best, in my opinion, was Ocarina of Time and Mario 64. You already have the two best N64 games. GoldenEye would be third, but that's never going to happen.
Well, that's.
But let's say a year from now, it's not 9 plus whatever, the 17. Now, let's say it's like 25 N64 games. You know, that would be an accomplishment. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to take them all year to get through the ones they showed.
Oh man, that would be brutal.
For
if they
me,
do
it's
that.
all going to hinge on which games come next. If you put Smash 64 on there, or Mario Party, or even Pokemon Stadium, those three.
Nobody want to play no Smash 64.
I would say wait. I would
That's
just
great,
wait.
man. It's
Wait
good.
till it has more than
Wave race.
one or two games. Like wait till
Well,
the.
yeah, because you're not.
Might as well
required to
wait
jump
till a
in
year
now.
from now until it has all the games and then pay it instead of paying it
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
and getting drip fed. I feel the same way about Game Pass. I think Game Pass in 2023 is going to start having their big games will be out and you'll have multiple choices. Maybe late 2022. Getting it now for me is like but then you're still waiting for Halo and Forza,
My issue
you know?
with Game Pass is more so the games drop off. So
You're only
quickly.
getting it for
Like
a new game.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Like what-
You're doing it wrong.
I'm getting Game Pass in November for 1 or 2 months to play Forza Horizon 5 because I'm going to play it on PC, and I don't want to buy just the digital version. I want to have a physical version possibly when I get a Series X.
Oh, okay.
So I'll probably just pay see if there's a deal, see if I can get another 3 months for $1, play it that way. That's Microsoft wants. That's what I'm going to utilize it. And if I have a Series X, I'd buy it physically. We'll see. They had them in stores and people were waiting 14 hours in line to get PS5s and Xboxes because they started where you actually can pick it up in store and go wait in line. They did that again.
Like what T showed earlier, I don't know if he was joking or not, but I mean, like Castlevania 64, like Legacy of Darkness stuff, for example, I don't think they've ever been re-released on fucking anything.
I didn't really care for that game.
Put that shit on there, you know?
Was that good though? I rented it and
Those
thought
games
it
were
was
Legacy
trash.
of Darkness is pretty
What
good.
about the original
heard-
Castlevania 64?
I've heard nothing good about Castlevania. I'm just saying.
Not good.
No, I didn't think so.
64, no.
I mean, like, you know, if you add stuff to it, the whole point is like add shit to it. That's why I like it that they would add stuff like Paper Mario. You know, add shit that either has never been re-released or stuff
Yeah,
that's
like-
just
Bro,
like
Paper
wicked
Mario
expensive.
played on
To
Wii U, bro.
even give context, when you go look at most people's top 10, top 15 N64 games list, and then you go compare it with like what we're getting in the first, we'll say first year. Let's say the worst it gets is that the extra games they added will be out in a year. That means your first year has almost all of the top N64 games minus something
probably half.
minus something like Perfect Dark or GoldenEye or
Conquer. Can't have Conquer's Bad Fruity.
Conquer, I guess. Conquer's one of those. It's
I
up
don't think
there.
Conquer.
Wave Race. That's to me
Yeah.
is top 3.
But the fact that
Probably
you got
top
things
4
like
actually.
You're not gonna put Conquer on because you got to lock it to certain age groups. I don't think they're gonna put it on there.
No?
Really? You don't think they'll put it on there?
Is Majora's Mask in the top
No.
10
Yeah,
and 64
shut the
games?
Majora's Mask is If they put Resident Evil in there, I'd be surprised. I forgot that.
Yeah, Resident. I mean, but
That's a possibility.
Or well, I
But
don't
if
know,
they would do that, then you could put Conquer. They're both rated M, aren't they?
isn't Resident Evil 2 available to?
Dewey, like I still need to play that shit.
Say what?
Yeah,
What?
but Conker's a different kind of rating.
Diddy Kong
Dewey.
Racing. There's Beetle
Diddy Kong, I
Adventure.
feel like they can do just because they have the license to Diddy
Beetle
Kong.
Adventure
Wouldn't
Racing. San Francisco Rush. 2049.
Yeah, I'm surprised like Pilot Wings ain't.
Pilot
one of the
Wings
first
hasn't
few
been on
games.
shit. They've never put that on anything.
No.
I don't
There's
know why.
certain-
What is up with that game?
I forget. It's been so long since I played it. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I have fond memories of it,
What
but
about,
No, it's a good game.
I haven't
Is
played
there
it
some kind of license?
since
T, what about,
1997, probably 98.
I was gonna say, T. What about Mystical Ninja Goemon?
Oh,
Might as well just instantly
Well,
add
should we
Mystic
try to
Quest
wrap
on
this
there.
up with I mean, honestly, if you ask me, I think Bayonetta 3 is the only thing left to really talk about now.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
gonna
at
scam-
920, yo,
Like if you want to go play
by
this game, it'd be like over $100. You can't. This is the type of shit that should be on there. Games like this.
Yeah, everything else is
Mortal
the only
Kombat
other
4.
The only other things they're on here is
Mystic Quest.
You got the Castlevania collection, ActRaiser, Renaissance.
This way.
I mean, that's again, we could do that at part 2, yo. It's
No, let's just talk about
921.
Bayonetta 3.
Briefly, I gotta get out of here. I got.
Yeah, it's like
exactly.
9:20. I'm just
It's
I got a
921,
truck to
yo.
load up.
We got a lot of people watching though. Let's
It's 921, yo. I'm
right, so we'll just talk about. Let's just give it Bayonetta 3. Who was fooled? And I know I watched some reactions, but just to tell everybody, I thought they were doing Astral Chain 2. I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was I thought it was Astral Chain 2 until the witch time noise. It had a similar art style, so I was fooled. I didn't want to believe it. I don't know about you guys.
The
The art
very
style-
first
the art style was so different.
second, I was like, it's Bayonetta 3. The very first second,
That was the
you
first
saw Platinum, the airplanes, but then you saw the monsters, and I was like, okay, maybe that's Astral Chain. It kind of looks like
Yeah.
Astral
You
Chain,
know how-
actually.
You
And
wanna know how
then you saw
Yeah, I
the
never saw the
platinum,
Astral Chain.
and you saw like the platinum shooting, and I was like, okay, no, it's got to be Bayonetta. But then you see the fucking dog, I'm like, no, it is Astral Chain. Like I went back and forth so many times.
That
That was the ultimate
There's an-
troll.
there's
I
an
thought,
easy-
well, I knew it was Bayonetta from the text, the font.
Actually, that's literally it. That's literally it,
Yeah.
Robert. That's exactly how I knew. I
That's
went,
what I was
that's Bayonetta text.
Yeah,
that's
that's the font. That's the font for
literally
Bayonetta.
They
it.
might have pulled me off of Bayonetta a couple of times, but I never went to Astral Chain. I was like, this ain't Astral Chain. This is.
It's a good nod.
That's how you know, though. I watched.
I'm
But
glad
then
they
the
nodded
soldiers
to it.
looked like they were from the Bayonetta
It had the
games, so I was-
similar art style, though. The world didn't look the same, but
No,
the
I
art
wouldn't
style
say
looked
that.
the same.
I don't agree with that at
And I ain't
all.
seen no demons or no angel monsters, and I'm like, what are these alien kaiju? What is going on here?
So,
Well, they actually, the description says they're literally not demons.
yeah, they're not either. So
Demons
Yeah,
are
they
angels.
gotta be aliens, which is cool.
I was, I mean, I watched for the next hour and a half. I watched the trailer multiple times. I watched reactions. I was watching Susie the Sphere Hunters breakdown because she went in depth with the first two games, and on her her channel she does like really in depth analysis, and she was breaking down all kinds of shit like immediately. She knew it was the different voice actors like immediately too, which was impressive.
Yeah,
I'm like, she's like, oh look at you're doing multiple torture attacks like on screen. There's like 5 of them happening at once, and she's breaking down all this cool stuff, and I'm just like,
there's a
everything.
I was gonna say,
The more I watched it, the more excited I've become.
I said there
Yeah.
was there's one cool fan theory about
Looks
Washi.
fantastic.
Washi has a different voice actress, by the way.
Yeah, Susie
Yeah.
said that she thinks it's a different alternate Bayonetta or
Yeah,
younger
that's
version.
literally it. You wanna
Yeah,
why?
she came
Because
up with that theory on air.
You wanna know why? Because her hairstyle is her younger self's hairstyle. Like
She
the
don't
little
look
girl
younger
version.
though.
No, her little girl version that you play in the first game that you're protecting the
Teresa.
child, that's her hairstyle. That's her original. She's
Yeah,
rocking the
you're
suit.
right.
So a lot of people think it's that version of her grown up. That's the theory going around, which would make sense why she has a different.
So, what do you
voice.
guys think just of the trailer after almost 4 years? How did you feel about? Obviously, they were trying to troll us and mislead us, but how did you feel about the trailer finally seeing the game, like initially?
Bayonetta's first
dope,
lines were
man.
goated. Bayonetta's first lines were hilarious.
I know.
It seems I'm unfashionably late, but
Yeah.
I'm ready to give you everything that you're looking for. And I was like, All right, all right, Kanye, you fuck. The game looks
dance
great.
moves he was
Though.
pulling off good.
The only thing, the only thing
happy
the only thing that the only thing I had to readjust to is that this game is a lot darker than the second game. The second game was super bright and colorful. We kind of went back to like the grim.
But it
look
also
of the
has
first
way
game.
toned down gore and stuff, at least in this trailer. Like there's green
they're
blood. There's like she's like fully clothed now. Like I mean she was before, but I don't think we're gonna see.
Do you think they're trying to change that rating?
I think we're gonna. It had
Maybe
something had an M rating. I guess Dying Light was M.
Yeah, Dying Light.
Yeah.
I kind of see this being
I
a T
thought
for
that
teen.
too.
I think they're gonna. I think they're changing
I think
it
they're
up.
trying to go T on
That's
that.
why I was worried about Terrell's reaction because I was like, yeah, they kind of
That's why
desexualized.
no angels, no demons.
Yep.
You don't have to
Just
deal with
kind of
that
a.
kind of.
I heard no cursing.
I won't
in
agree with
the,
that
in the
because
game.
if I go with the idea that this is alternate universe Bayonetta, that would make sense why she looks different and she acts different.
But
It's not the same. It's not the same woman, so like it makes sense that she wouldn't portray herself that way.
and the interesting thing, well, not interesting, I guess, noteworthy thing for me is they didn't show really any cinematic stuff other than her landing. You didn't see the other characters, and I'm not worried. But I said I don't think this. I think this game's more than a year out. I think it's October, November 2022. And the reason I said that was not because I didn't think it looked polished or anything. All you see is basically the same cityscape background.
One area.
You see, you see her different whatever they called them for this now.
Forms,
You know, the different kaiju. People are calling them kaiju.
Yeah.
But they're only fighting the same like two boss look, same enemies, and then there's one generic like ground level small enemy. And I'm like, man, either they just really don't want to show us too much. That would be very possible, or that's all that they really had fleshed out. Or worst case scenario, the game's gonna be way less grand in its scope, and you're gonna be fighting in the same area most of the game. Like that, I hope's not true. But either way, I don't think this is a early. A lot of people are saying early to mid, like to spring, and I'm like, I see this as a full year plus out. Like that's how I see it.
Part of me thinks that just because we already have like the first 3 months of next year already good.
Too much.
And we're also in September, for God's sakes. Like, realistically, let's say it was coming out in October. We're more than a year off from that. So, like, it makes sense why we wouldn't see a lot. I won't expect to see a lot.
I don't think it has to do with the progress of the game. I think they finally progressed to where they felt confident to show us something finally. So I'm not worried about the progress. I think it's just we're still probably a year out, and they don't want to show too much.
Yeah, it's too early.
That usually they show like old build shit, like that the game is way further than it is. I just think they probably just didn't want to show too much at once, like a year.
What I'm saying is
a good judge will be is if we get to January, we get a direct in January or February, and they show it again. If they show a lot and the second time we see it, it's probably coming soon.
Well, just look at Astral Chain though. That was announced in February and came out in August. And the first trailer showed, and it had to as a new IP, but they showed a lot.
Yeah, nobody was waiting on Astral Chain. That was a complete surprise. So that game was done, and they just said we don't need to show this because nobody even knows we're working on this right.
So what do you think about the people who are saying, and it's a lot of non-Nintendo guys, but who were saying they weren't very happy with the new art style. It doesn't look like Bayonetta. The art style, I haven't seen one where it's like
because it looks more, like I said, it looks more grim than it.
Because the teaser was a more of a realistic art style, I guess. The original teaser, which was the game hadn't even started yet. We know that now. So do you feel like this? This feels like a Bayonetta. It doesn't, to me, visually, it doesn't feel like a Bayonetta game. The gameplay looks like Bayonetta. The character feels like, but visually, I don't really feel like that. It feels like a Bayonetta.
The scene in the train looks more Bayonetta than the main scene we kept seeing with fighting the giant monsters. because like there's no
Bayonetta than me when she started doing how I look.
There's just no
Yeah,
color.
that part was awesome.
There's barely
Bayonetta than me.
there's barely any color in like the city level. But like if you were in the train was probably more like a bright and sunny thing. That felt more like Bayonetta 2
This is
to
the
me.
best the Switch
That's
can
the
do.
main thing.
It probably is.
I think that's the main thing. Yeah, like it just visually resembles the first game a lot more. Just a lot more grim, dark, a lot more like brown and
get
gray,
that
that
vibe,
kind of
honestly.
shit.
I didn't get those muted colors. I thought it was pretty colorful.
I thought at least enemies and the characters.
It's got a lot of views, 1.1 million views on the reveal trailer.
Well, I was going to.
We've been waiting 1.1 million years for this bit. That's
I'd be curious to see what the view total is on this versus the other games revealed.
The Bayonetta Twitter account was the funniest shit when I saw that.
I loved him.
At this, and I'm like, them soldiers kind of like something out of Devil's Third.
Yeah, I mean the texture on that vehicle.
I'm more surprised they're
great.
even acknowledging the humans because Bayonetta, although it takes place in the real world, never acknowledges humans ever.
Yeah, because they go into like this other realm basically when they fight.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. That's the other thing people brought up.
This is like full on like the people are going to be affected now.
This is the first time they've ever seen them.
And you see, there's a train right there in the background. That could be related to the train she's fighting in.
Well, the train she's fighting looks more. Well, it could be just
kind of like that's Dark Side is that the same thing. It took like the fucking third game before you actually saw like humans and that kind of stuff. Maybe now they just thought, I don't know, it could serve the story more to add humans to the world.
They show like in the city, just in the background, in the beginning when she's shopping.
Man, I gotta.
Okay.
Got a lot to do.
All right. What was your grade of the direct? I know you have a video out, but
my grade I think was I gave it a B. I gave it a solid B.
Yeah, well, if you got to drop out, we'll probably go another 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, I got a lot of work to do. I'm out of here in 2 days. So.
All right, 2 days? Damn. Okay. Get to it, man.
Get it done. Get it done.
I do it.
So,
all right, fellas.
I absolutely see you later.
I gotta drop out too then, you know,
okay.
I should have been dropped out to be.
Score?
All right. Peace.
All right.
Oh.
What was your grade, Robert?
Oh, A-, to be honest. I thought it was really solid. All right.
I really love her new design. Fuck. I hate how when I pause it, minimizes it on the stream.
Gothic Lolita style, man.
I love her design.
That shit.
I like it. I think I flip between this one and the twos. I go between.
I like the short hair, but I love this design. To me, it's like perfect. But
it's more cute than sexy. That's what threw me off about it.
It's not sexualized.
I mean, it's just not a sexy hairstyle in general, but that's what threw me off.
But a lot of female reactors are like, "Oh, that skirt looks awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, I really like the profile. It's almost like a skirt." But to me, like nothing about anything artistically on screen goes with the first two games. Like even the creature design.
I like this astro effect with the fucking witch time. That shit is great. See,
I mean, it's more daytime. But I hate to say, I don't feel like it looks like Bayonetta 1, but it is like whatever's going on in the background here is just kind of, it is bland.
It feels more like
it is a bit bland. Hopefully maybe this is just the opening.
Like when you go look at Bayonetta 1 and 2 comparisons, those don't even look like the same game.
But she's colorful. A lot of the effects are colorful, but the actual environment isn't.
And I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's the backgrounds mostly that are very gray and mute. But that's just in this short scene and shit, you know?
Exactly.
Like even when at the end of the trailer she's sliding down and shit, like you don't really get that gray effect anymore.
I have a feeling a lot of this
the sky and stuff.
Swirls and stuff in the background. Well, that's this is like a castle here. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any like breakdown. But this is a city for sure in Japan. But this is spirit like castle in the sky shit. Like this is.
Well, it also kind of fits the theme that the teaser gave off, which is that this is going to be a more like usually the way Bayonetta's games. The first game, she was trying to discover herself. The second game was her getting closure on her family situation. So the third game more than likely is going to if we're right about the alternate universe thing, then I think the theming is going to be that she's going to struggle a lot in this game.
Yeah. And I don't know what's going on with the swirly stuff, if that's just to for performance to have, so there's not so much in the background, or if that's
it's probably gonna be like
story
how it was
related.
in Bayonetta 1, where they had the angel thing lock the area off.
Yeah.
Where you could explore the area, and then they put the fucking angel things to block the area, so you couldn't. Oh, we're in a counter. You got to finish the fight first. This shit looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's reminiscent of the second game on the.
I think
I'm
more. You know what? You know why I think it looks this way is because this is the most Bayonetta shit has taken place like in the real world. Usually, the first and second games had you in these like fantastical areas.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most like quote unquote grounded.
So that was definitely the highlight for me, and but just to wrap this up, so I gotta say, I can grade it as just a production, a show. You know, it flowed very well. There wasn't any extended filler. Like, why are you spending so much time on this game? There wasn't any of that for me. But like I said in the beginning, I went into this with a prove that there was a reason to have this in September and not in early next year. And all the highlights were all for me, like they said spring for Kirby.
Yeah.
The Monster Hunter summer. Bayonetta, I'm guessing fall to winter next year. What else was 2022?
Triangle Strategy.
Triangles. Well, they gave a date for that.
Splatoon 3.
Splatoon 3 is probably mid to late next year. So why was this in September mindset? I feel it was kind of pointless to have it now because all the cool stuff is coming. We're going to see it again in another direct before this. Like, I think save that stuff, have a direct mini to tie up anything coming out this year. That to me it wouldn't have been exciting, but I just felt like everything cool about this is coming, past winter next year. So why have it?
Shit is in like 2 weeks. Animal Crossing, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting the stuff in November, but for
Smash
me,
is next week,
so as a show, just the way it flowed, I would probably give it like a B-. B. For me, as in, hey, this game looks good. This game looks good. Like, I gotta be real. I'm gonna give it a C-. Almost everything they showed was either really like, or that's not my type of game. Like, yeah, I know I need to expand my horizons and whatever, but Kirby looked promising. We had 5 DLC expansion announcements, some old games, and then you had like a couple RPGs. You had the Chocobo Racing. You had the Sizzle Reel, which kind of was an afterthought. I felt like so. It just didn't really deliver. Each game they showed was like, oh, ActRaiser remake. Okay, whoop-de-doo. Like for me, that's how I was reacting to almost everything. Animal Crossing, oh, update. I was calling an update 2 directs ago for an Animal Crossing big update. So nothing really delivered other than Bayonetta 3 for me. Like that was an awesome moment. I'm glad they showed it, but I also don't feel like they needed to do this in September. I don't know. I think that's just how I viewed it. It just really didn't have anything much for me, and nothing anytime soon that I'm looking forward to. So in that regard, it didn't really, kind of failed. I was hoping in my back of my mind, all right, covering winter, so that means January, February, March, a little bit into April, I guess is technically still winter. If maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's gonna be something. Maybe whatever. A game that really, or a game we know about, hey, here's a release date. It's coming out in March, which Triangle Strategy got that release date. So, for me as an excitement grade, I'd give it a C-. It wasn't very exciting until Bayonetta 3. Everything else, I was kind of bored, to be honest, for most of it. So that's my score, C-.
B overall. I'm already kind of good. It's one of those directs that didn't need to happen, but I'm pretty much set about which games I'm excited about. I have at least, I won't say 4 or 5 that I'm looking forward to. The only reason why I see why you would have it is there was a bunch of stuff that either got announced today, got released the same day.
Yeah, but I mean, if you take out Kirby You take out Bayonetta. You take out the Splatoon, which we've already had a trailer for. I mean, that's probably only 6-7 minutes. Some of the other, like I said, the Disney stuff, only 30 seconds. That didn't need to be in there. I think they could have slimmed it down to more of a mini, and saved these. But does it really, like, they've done this trick before? Does it really benefit us, like when they announced Luigi's Mansion 3 in a November direct in 2018, and the game comes out a year later? Like, I really felt like they did that just so the direct had something exciting at the end. I think that's Bayonetta. They just wanted to have something exciting at the end.
I mean, I still think there were things in the direct that were in.
Well, yeah. If there was things like a card game RPG does nothing for me, or
yeah, remember there are certain genres you just don't give a fuck about. So like,
I mean, and I can't think of one lower than a card game, a video game where it's a card game. Like, that's the lowest as far as excitement or interest for me. That's as low as you can get. Like that kind of stuff.
And then obviously they used it to promote Dread and Mario Party, which both come out next month.
Yeah.
Then you got the DLC for Zelda.
And I literally took a 1.5 off, or a whole grade off, for the N60, charging for those few N64 games they showed. Maybe it gets to be a very robust.
I mean, hey, look,
what they showed.
It's your score.
That took a whole point off. Like literally that made me like, are you fucking kidding me? So Retro, what'd you give it?
I give it, like, I know you guys use letters, but I give it an 8 out of 10. I guess if you return it into letters, it would be like a B.
That'd be like a B.
What Terrell had.
Yeah, that's a B.
I'm not gonna buy the fucking Disney game, but I like it when you have shit like that in a direct. Like the Disney thing and like the card game. I'm still considering it because that soundtrack is so good. Like, and the artwork, so I'm still considering it and stuff. But you had the announcement, and as stupid as it is, the announcement of a direct for Smash, the announcement of like the Animal Crossing direct, that specifically was a lot for me because I've been fucking wanting that for way too long already. The Kirby thing was just mind blowing, like a 3D Kirby game. The Kirby and Animal Crossing alone already put it at like a 7 for me. All the extra shit just lifted up another point. The Bayonetta trailer finally, a better Splatoon trailer. You saw a bunch of shit. You have like updates, like Terrell said, for upcoming games still this year, like Mario Party and stuff. So I thought it was really good. I was excited all throughout. I wish it hadn't started with the Monster Hunter because that was just like a lame start for me, I feel. But like, again, the end with Bayonetta, I thought it was a really good direct. I also dock it a full point for the online shit, like without a doubt. It's too bullshit for me. So that costs us a point. And I guess in the end, even though I do consider Kirby a massive announcement, I feel for like to get to a 9 for me, you need 2 of those announcements of the same caliber, and that we just didn't have, I feel. But all in all, I was excited all throughout. Like, it was great reveals, great trailers and shit. And Animal Crossing, I gotta guess.
Yeah, that's, to me, like, I don't play Animal Crossing, but to announce to make an announcement for announcement, we did it with Smash, and then they did it with Animal Crossing. 2 out of 3. I'm like, you could have just a week or tomorrow or a week later, you could have announced the Animal Crossing one, or the Smash one. I feel like should have just been beforehand. Just, hey, we're gonna do the Smash one. If you're going to do it early in the direct, like, hey, we're not gonna reveal the Smash character, just do it before the direct even comes out, so people know. It just was weird. That was one of the weirdest choices I felt, was to have the announcement of the Smash direct in the Animal Crossing direct. But again, like, if this had a couple 2-3 games that really got you excited, your score is going to be different than mine. The PlayStation event, we didn't score that, but I'd probably give that like a C. Project Eve looked fucking amazing. And Forspoken looks interesting, and then God of War looks good. But everything else was kind of, there's some filler in there, like, so that was like a B plus A minus for me either. That had a couple cool things, but I guess for me, I was looking at.
We didn't even address the Mario movie stuff.
Yeah, we forgot.
I like it that they had like a release date for
We'll
next
talk
year.
about
So
that
that
next
was
week.
also pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if one of the big 3 highlights for me is the cast announcement for a movie in a Nintendo Direct, then to me that says something. But anyway, we'll talk about that and anything else that pops up. Splatoon 3, we can discuss the single player tease they showed and the Mario movie things next week. But appreciate everybody for hanging on this long. Almost at the 3 hour mark. Should we just try to make it 3 or what?
No, I need to.
All right, so
I gotta do things.
thanks for tuning in. Clocked it. If you're watching to this point, hey, you complained last week it was too short, so this would kill almost 3 hours of your day tomorrow at work. So hope you appreciated it, and yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. Let me make sure.